motion to open the meeting. I move to open the select board meeting on July 28, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This meeting is recorded by Marshfield Community Media. It is permissible for others to record this meeting. If anyone else is recording this meeting, please notify the select board now. I invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. Okay. So just for chair's comments, I know we're supposed to take up the appointments or reappointments for the boards. I'm going to table that because I think there was a communication breakdown between me and the staff in regards to how it was supposed to look on the agenda going forward. And it kind of messed things up the way I was gonna do it. So, I know so I think I'm gonna put that off until the next meeting in regards to that matter. Peter, do you have a town administrator report?
Just that we've begun interviews with possible candidates for the procurement position, and we'll have our first planning meeting with the consultant for the hire on Wednesday. I'll be attending it with the UMass people, basically to just kick things off, and I'll be providing them with a profile of the community that they can work off of. At the next meeting, I'd really like it if you guys could come up with people for the search committee. I think that would be very helpful.
How are we doing with the applications for it?
I've got a handful.
A handful?
Yeah, I've gotten like 3 or 4. That's it.
Yeah. You go ahead.
Peter, do you want people to complete an actual application to go for this, or?
Yeah, but if they could just fill out the volunteers form.
The one that we
yeah.
used for all the committees?
Yeah.
Okay,
That would be all they'd need to do.
okay.
How are we advertising this?
I've mentioned it on ATD a couple of times, and I believe it's up on the website. If it's not,
Tidbits?
I'll check. Yeah, I believe it's been in Tidbits. If not, we'll make sure that it is.
Yeah, I guess if it's on Tidbits, or is it every Friday we post it, I think? We can just recycle that so it's on the top of the page. I think
Yeah.
that would go a
Okay.
long way. Is that it, Peter?
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, and the other thing on the, with the Collins, do they state when they're gonna try and sit down with each select board member?
Probably you'll be hearing from them probably after Wednesday of this week.
Okay, and I know we discussed the last meeting in regards to kind of speeding this process up to a degree. Did you
Yep.
say to ask them
Yep,
to start
and
taking
I'll-
applications and sort it out afterwards?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to push them on Wednesday to do,
Okay,
to get it going.
okay. Okay, is there any public comments? You get that sheet for me, Trish, please? Mr. Dave Carrier. You know the routine, Mr.
Yes, I
Carrier.
David Carrier, 34 Outlook Road. I just wanted to touch base with the Select Board to the fact that we are initiating, starting tomorrow, the petition with regard to a citizen's petition on the unpaved private ways, modifying to a certain extent the number of times per year, and also more clearly establishing the funding and the other issues. And as I know this board is aware from prior meetings that I have spoken on this subject, but basically about when you count up all of the 260-odd residences on these unpaved sections of roadway, that comes to obviously 520 votes, assuming 2 votes per residence. The funding that they're having versus the current $70,000 is like 2% of their tax revenue. There's nothing here that is trying to change, Article 52 of the town bylaws, which determines what it is, which is fully referenced against Mass General Law C-40, Section 6N, okay, which says, you can only do certain things like gradings and stuff like that. We're not looking to change any of that. This is just mostly to try and get the whole funding process of it geared to the fact that there is significant tax money coming from these families, and the grading, at twice a year is sometimes not enough. Other times, 2 times more might be necessary. And there are other circumstances where it is quite possible that, we might have to have like a reserve fund kicked out and stuff like that. Now, this board has, and the, working through the police and fire department can do a declaration of emergency, but actually having something set aside is basically, a backup fund that can be tapped for it is, to me, that can be done. One of the things that I have found in going through one particular assessor's data on 121 T-Rock Lane, the property is shown as 1.01 acres. If you take the frontage of that property and the width of the roadway in that area, because it is not the typical 10-foot, it's maybe 7 or 8 feet, it comes to just about 0.01 acres. And I did question this with the assessors down in here in Town Hall. And there are some circumstances where that might happen, although typically they are only if the private way is not on the roadway, maps in the town. But it could be also the type of thing that is left over from something like that if it was not caught and taken care of when it should be. And if there is other circumstances where these property owners are being taxed on the width of the unpaved roadway, that would be basically a pretty good source to, document and gear to being available if additional work had to be done. The other item that I think needs to be considered, and this would be in the province of the Board of Public Works, we have other private ways where we have easements, either for water and sewer, and also because many of these private ways do actually have their roots with the solid waste, they're there. So some minor portion of the funding of that would be appropriate, perhaps, from the retained earnings of the various DPW enterprise divisions as well. But I just wanted to make sure you folks knew that we are proceeding with that, and I had provided you the text that is being utilized in the signature selection. My only issue for not getting it rolling right away right now is the fact that at my home printer, I can't do anything beyond 8.5 by 11, and you really need something that's 8.5 by 17 for those signature numbers. And we do recognize that 100 verified signatures for residents have to be provided for a special town meeting. And there's one other item I want to touch base on, and where did I just put it? Up right here. This is an alert for residents in the town. I just received a letter that said, final notice, RE home warranty for reverse mortgage maintenance and requirements. And it says the lender was Situate Federal Savings and Loan, which of course does not exist anymore. It was merged with South Shore Savings and then Coastal Heritage. And it's a fishing trip for, as I understand it, for a offshore insurance company that's trying to snooker business. And I did call and leave a voice message at the police department about this, but general notice to the people in the town might be appropriate. And Attorney Galvin, should you want this, I'd be glad to give you a copy. Okay. And that sums it up, unless, Steve, you have something to add? Okay. I am working hard with Steve on this. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Carrier. Appreciate it, and keep up the good work. Okay, so we got an executive session. We're going to take that up right now. Hoping it's not going to last any more than 20 minutes, but don't hold me to that. So Make a motion to go into an executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just to consider, the purpose of the exec is to
Oh, yeah. I
consider
gotta
the
read
purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, and then an open meeting discussion would have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the town of Marshfield pursuant to General Law 30, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, subsection 6.
That it?
Yep.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is going to be discussion and vote on reserve funds. Peter, I think I will let you take this and explain this away.
Sure. So, last week at the advisory board, the monies that were appropriated pursuant to Article 6 of the special town meeting that was sponsored by the select board at the last annual town, or a special town meeting, were approved for transfer by the advisory board from reserve funds and from the employee benefits account into various accounts. And I've provided you with I believe you have a list of each of the accounts that were, into which they were appropriated. It's approximately $900,000 that was in this item. There had been some concern expressed by the chair that the board should act on this first. However, the Chapter 40, Section 6 of the general laws creates reserve funds for advisory boards and finance committees and municipalities to do just what was done last Tuesday. And given the fact that the act that was taken was a transfer, you will get warrants to sign, which is your approval of the expenditures of this money. I can go over the list of items that were covered. We anticipated about $900,000 worth of transfers. We had a little bit over that due to inclusion of employee benefits, I believe, in the amount, and a little bit more on utilities than was anticipated. But I'll answer any questions that you may have about these.
So Peter, are you saying that the $900,000 that we voted at town meeting for reserves, we're going to use that all up for this transfer?
Yeah, so that $900,000 that was appropriated pursuant to Article 6, I believe it was number 25 in Article 6, that $900,000 is being moved. Now, what I can report is there's a likelihood of you closing the fiscal year with a balance well in excess of the amount that was appropriated, to close the gaps in these select accounts. You're gonna have over $2 million in all likelihood in operational surplus out of your accounts. So what was necessary with these transfers was to move money into various accounts before the end of the fiscal year. That doesn't mean that you ran over your budget. It means some accounts were in excess of appropriation and had to be addressed. And to do that, the mechanism was to use the reserve fund. But your overall operational budget is going to return a pretty substantial surplus for the fiscal year.
All right, so if I'm understanding you correctly, then what you're saying is that you're using the reserve funds as a temporary matter right now, and then when you iron out the rest of the budget.
We're closing out the books now.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up with over $2 million in surplus on the operational side. That's not even the revenue side. That's just in what was appropriated for FY25 that was not spent. So you're in a good, that's an initial projection right now, but you're in a good position.
All right, so you're saying that when this gets all squared up, we're going to revisit this anyways?
When this gets all squared out, there's going to be a certification of free cash that is going to be, that is going to show that you had an operational surplus.
And then we can further discussion,
Yeah.
I guess, of that.
Yep.
All right. Steve, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Trish, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
All right, so I don't,
So you don't
we
need,
don't need to take any action, right?
Nope.
So,
just want to inform you.
okay. Discussion and vote on renewal or termination of interim town administrator's contract. So I have a letter here from Mr. Moran. This memo is to remind the board that my interim appointment expires on or about August 15, 2025. I am grateful for the opportunity to work for the town of Marshfield, and I am willing to continue to serve in an interim role until a permanent appointee is identified. Due to my status as a retired state employee, I am limited in the amount I can earn as well as the number of hours I can work in a calendar year. For those reasons, should the board wish to renew the contract for my services, I would propose that the term be for no more than 10 weeks or until a successor has been hired. I would also propose that my work week be 25 hours and the rate of pay be reduced from $100 to $75 per hour. These adjustments will allow me to work through the special time meeting in October, if necessary, without running afoul of the limits on compensation and work hours. I welcome the opportunity to discuss this matter further. I wish to again express my sincere thanks for providing me this opportunity to serve the town of Marshfield. We've had an email from Mr. Clifford and his concerns to the, which I will read. Members of the board, I am writing this in my capacity as a resident. I am somewhat surprised to note that there was no agenda item for tonight's meeting to discuss replacing Mr. Moran, whose 4-month term ends within the next couple of weeks. The board and the town are incredibly fortunate to have hired Peter following Michael Russ's resignation. I'm sure he has done an admirable job for the past few months as interim town administrator. That being said, the town charter is clear. Temporary appointments can last no longer than 4 months. Given that you have only just recently retained a search firm to start the process for selecting a new TA, it is highly likely that a new TA will not be hired and ready to work until January. Only caveat to that is that if you choose a candidate who is unemployed, she may be available to start a month or so sooner than that. Given that this vacancy will last for several more months, it seems that the board needs to address this issue with some urgency. I'm sure the board feels that Peter has done a tremendous job and would agree wholeheartedly. In the absence of that charter provision, the best option for all would be to keep him unless the board intends to willingly and knowingly violate the charter. However, you are compelled to retain another interim town administrator. I respectfully suggest you address this topic at your earliest convenience. John J. Clifford. And the code he's referring to is 4-1, letter H. Vacancy shall be filled as soon as reasonably possible. Temporary appointment for a period of no longer than 4 months may be made by a selectman in the absence of a fully qualified individual. So with that said, I have spoken to Attorney Galvin a few months ago because I had the feeling that we were gonna run into this situation and to find out where it would stand going forward. In regards to this matter, banking on that, we were not gonna have a actual town administrator hired, that he says we could reappoint Mr. Moran if we so choose to. So with that said, Steve, do you have any questions or comments in regards to this matter?
Yeah, I think Peter's been doing a great job, and it's great that he not only has the TA experience, but he has a very strong financial acumen and background too, which has helped us a lot. So he's helping us on dual fronts, and obviously we're not really close to having a new permanent town administrator, so it makes sense to extend Peter. I think just to make it clean and easy, right? I mean, I think Peter would speak candidly no matter what, but I think just to make it clear to everyone that Peter should be free to speak candidly and there wouldn't be any repercussions for speaking candidly and truthfully, that we just appoint him until we find a successor permanently, instead of just giving him these 10-week nuggets, and just put in the motion that we get 2 weeks' notice that he's gonna resign once we find a replacement.
So if I'm understanding correctly, so you just want to make a motion to continue until we are grounded with somebody that we've chosen to, as the town administrator?
Exactly. Yep.
And then just put in there saying that he gives us 2 weeks' notice when he's deciding to vacate?
Yep.
Or we notify him one way or the other?
Precisely.
Trish?
Yes, and we lose the term interim. He'd be our town administrator until that point, correct? And Peter has done a fine job. We've been very fortunate. I think Marshfield's been very fortunate to have him. He's been a great mentor to me, so I really appreciate it, being the newbie. So I definitely think we should have him as our TA until further notice.
So you want to eliminate the word interim from it?
Well, he will be our TA until we find it someone else.
I'm just,
I think what that.
without having the charter in my hand right now, I think there's some possible legal concerns with that if we do hire him as a town administrator, that he's guaranteed a 3-year contract.
I spoke with Bob about this, and it keeps it neat and clean. If he's the TA and not interim, it's not temporary, it's,
If you're worried about that, you can put on a probationary period of, after the 10-week period, and you can say you can review me at that time. I mean, and that gets you out of it, but I don't, you know,
Yeah, see, this, look, I support
Yeah.
both of what you're doing here. It's just that I think if we do something like that, then I don't know what kind of situation we're setting ourselves up for, especially with the charter says if we make him a town administrator outright. Here's where my concerns lie right there.
you can, again, if you're gonna, you know, strictly construe this, and if you think that it requires a 3-year contract, you can put a notice to terminate early in the contract to
How-
address that
Can we-
concern.
How about we do this until we can get, I guess, further clarification on it?
Yeah.
Can we just extend you for like, let's say, this August, and then we can put something together regards to,
Sure, Sure.
making sure that everything's okay. Are you
Yep.
good with that, Steve?
I'm fine.
Or do you have something else that
I mean, I would rather just hammer it out now, because this is something that we would like work out in executive session as the new contract language anyway. So all the contingencies that you are worried about, we would have to do in executive session anyway. So we could just keep the train moving if we approved it tonight, because we still have to work out like the details in the contract in executive session. And all of these issues that you're raising is where we'd be able to fine tune it.
I mean, you might be right about that without having counsel here at the moment. What do you think, Trish?
well, I spoke with Bob before the meeting, and he felt that this was the cleanest way if we so chose to keep Peter.
All right, so wipe out the word interim for the time being, right? And then how do we want to word this?
So,
Is everybody's looking, what are we looking here?
Do you want me to take a stab at the motion and see how you guys feel?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve, I'm good for that. Yeah,
Okay.
you guys.
I move to renew Peter Morin's contract until a successor has been hired, and that Peter's work will be limited to no more than 25 hours per week, and that his rate of pay be reduced from $100 per hour to $75 per hour, and that in Peter's renewed contract, there is a contingency that we provide him with 2 weeks' notice, and/or he provides the town with 2 weeks' notice when he will be stepping down as town administrator. And do I have a second?
Okay. I think I'm good with that. You good with that? Okay, so, all right, do I have a second on that motion?
Second?
Eric Kelly, aye.
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 Okay, it's, I think we're all good to go on that, right?
thank you.
Thank you. Can we skip to,
Yeah, what was it, 9?
and we have Sean on Zoom, and we're gonna need the pictures too.
What, you got pictures for the screen?
Yes.
Beautiful, okay. Scott,
I'm here if you need me.
I appreciate that, Sean. Discussion and vote on beach nourishment request on Sunrise Beach. Discussion and comments from the from the board. So let's see here. I'm gonna have Peter Howard. Mr. Howard, you want to come up and speak?
Like each of you to please read this document first.
Read it out loud in public?
Read it to yourself.
Oh, read it to us, all right.
I think I have a copy.
Do you have a copy? Okay, Chief,
That's Ms. Simpson.
We made one.
Oh,
That's okay.
you can be Ms. Simpson.
Works for me.
Do you want to, you have to sit down, you have the microphone.
Want me to talk into the microphone?
Yeah. We want you to sing.
Thank you.
Comfy?
Oh, yeah, that's seven.
Can you just pull that, the microphone up? There you go.
Okay.
You know something? I will, I'm not going to read this because I'm sure you're going to give us kind of a background on it anyways, I imagine.
You need to read both of those.
Oh.
The reason I'm here tonight is to talk about something the town did almost 50 years ago to the beach at Sunrise Beach. And when you read those documents that I've given to you, you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, what it worked out to be was when the summer season arrived in 1976, the rocks on the beach at Sunrise Beach were all the way to the top of the seawall. Oh, my God, you got my pictures
Yeah, I
up.
told you.
They were all the way to the top of the seawall. And normally in the spring, the winds usually would knock them down and then push sand up onto the rocks, and the beach would be fine for the whole summer, and then Labor Day would come, and we'd get a nor'easter, and the sand would get all washed offshore, and the rocks would be piled up against the seawall. And this happened every spring, every year, forever, except 1976. And so the residents petitioned the town, the selectmen, and Joe Linsky was the chair of the selectmen at that time, and they decided that they were going to have the rocks removed from the beach. So they had the Marshfield Sand and Gravel come down at no cost to the town, took all of the rocks off the beach, which you can see right there, and they got crushed for Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant, which is now being disassembled. And as a result of this, over time, the beach has eroded to the point where there's nothing holding sand anymore. And the current philosophy of coastal zone managers is anything that restricts the flow of water is bad. And so what we've got on Sunrise Beach now is a free shot from north to south of just washing sand off the beach. Now, back in 2019, a group of residents up on the bluff, up on the vicinity of 500 Ocean Street, started an organization called the Ocean Bluff Preservation Association, because the revetment that supports their homes up high is collapsing and sinking into the sand. All the boulders are being undermined and they sink into the sand. And at the very first meeting that I went to with these people, and my wife and I joined, I tried to explain to them that their problem was directly associated with the problem at Sunrise Beach, and that up and down drift from 1 mile to the next isn't that great a distance, and the problem they have is connected to the problem we have. And it is my opinion that the easiest way to get our beach back at Sunrise Beach is to put rocks on the beach. And I know everybody's gonna say, oh, you can't put rocks on the beach. How are they gonna use the beach if they have rocks on the beach? But 2 weeks ago, you could not get on Sunrise Beach at 9th Road before, 2 hours before high tide. You had to be there 2 hours before high tide or 2 hours after high tide you couldn't get on the beach for those 4 hours because the water was hitting the wall all the time. And in the past couple of weeks, we've had a number of days of southerly and southeasterly winds, which cause what's called a long wave action, and that sweeps the sand up onto the beach. And now all of a sudden, you can use the beach at 9th Road. And so I want to show you a series of pictures. I want to say another thing, that they talk about beach nourishment. A year ago, roughly, a number of residents in Salisbury Beach got together, $600,000, and they put 15,000 tons of sand on their beach over 4 weeks. And the king tides on March 10th, 2024 took all $600,000 worth of sand. You can't just use sand, and that's the way it is. And if you use boulders, they will disappear. Over time, they will disappear. Like when you stand in the water on the shoreline and you're standing there on the sand and a wave hits you, and the next thing you know, you're sunk in 3 inches. That's what happens with boulders. With cobbles and pebbles, the energy of the ocean moves them where the most energy is. And it's a fluid barrier. It moves with the energy of the ocean. And so if there's a shoal right offshore that creates big waves, in that particular area, they're not going to see a lot of rocks. You're going to see them where the shoal is not, and they'll keep going that way. But I have tried for almost 20 years to draw attention to this problem, and this is the list of the names of all the people that ignored me. Nobody wants to pay attention to this, but I'm going to tell you something. It's only a matter of time before we lose this current seawall, and then you're going to be looking at buying out oceanfront properties. It's only a matter of time. With sea level rise, global warming, and the fact that they did this is just, there's no other way. There's no other way that's going to end up.
Is that it, Mr. Howard? Is that it? So,
I want to show you a couple
oh, okay.
photographs.
So I want to say while you're doing that I do understand what he's saying. I'm someone that's been looking into wave attenuation devices because I know it slows the wave down before it hits the shore. And also when it slows it down, it brings in the sand, which will help build the beach and all that. Well, the whole thing, there was a big money to do that. But the whole thing is that, I was just gonna say that. So I'll let Sean Patterson speak when he gets a chance on it, as well as Trish and Steve, and see what their thoughts are. But right now, something, you are right, rocks are cheaper, and if we can do something over a period of time to set that up and hopefully show for it, then I think it's something that we should seriously look into going forward in the future. Absolutely.
Not too far down the road either.
No.
That's me in 1953.
This is on Sunrise Beach?
Note the height of the sand against the seawall, and also note that the current seawall is 2 feet higher than that wall,
Okay.
okay? But if you go down there, that's at 11th Road. If you went down to 11th Road right now,
Is that a current
look
picture
at
of
the
11th
beach
Road?
with the groins, the rocks, piled up against the wall. And every spring, those it gets smoothed out more or less.
So what you're saying,
This is the last
so what I'm looking at these pictures here, we're not showing like,
Those are the groins.
we're not, if I'm looking at it correctly, because it looks like it's snow covered. So it's not big revetment stones in front of the seawall. It's basically small
Cobbles
cobblestones.
and pebbles.
And those did the job.
Well, when
That-
they flow with the energy.
Yeah.
And they're piled up against the wall, and the wave hits the pile of rocks, what takes the energy?
The rocks.
The rocks, not the seawall.
Yeah, I mean, the seawall should never be, in my opinion, should never be used as a first resort for wave action anyways,
And
yeah.
had the WPA never happened and the seawall never been put in, we wouldn't be in this situation. They did, and that's life.
So where are these groins at? Are they still there now, or are they're
As a matter
gone?
of fact, yeah, this is the way our beaches, this is the way our beach used to look in the summertime. You'd see all the rocks up against the wall.
That's a lot of
You can see
beach.
You can see the groin, you can see the groins poking out of the rocks. You can see the groins poking out of the rocks here. That's the last year of bonfires, 1976. This is the beach after they took all the rocks off. Trish has them up there.
So what do you say, this picture was after,
That was after.
when they were in the process of it?
The end of the summer in 76.
And then you're saying when they did this, everything, the whole structure of the beach changed?
We used to have sandbars, we used to have tide pools, we used to have a lot of things. You used to be able to find baby flounder in the tide pools. Like the kids had more fun in the tide pools. And now it's just flat, there's nothing. And I'm gonna tell you this.
Mhm.
The jetties down by Grant Rock
Mhm.
actually prevent a lot of the sand from heading more south. Our sand is right off the beach. You put rocks back on the beach, you get a suction dredge up here and pump sand up. Believe me, the beach will change completely. It'll be the smartest thing we can ever do.
I don't disagree with your thoughts on that. I don't disagree with your thoughts on that.
Say that again.
I don't disagree with your thoughts on
Please don't.
that. Steve, do you have anything to add?
I just have a question for Sean when he's ready.
Okay, yeah. Sean, go ahead, Sean. Oh, Steve.
Sean, would putting rocks back on the beach require a signed easement from all the property owners along that portion of the beach?
I'm sure that's the case, but also the regulatory agencies that we have to deal with are, that's our biggest hiccup right there for us to do anything on the beach, is that funding. Over the years, we have accumulated some funding to do some projects, but we're so heavily regulated by the Corps of Engineers, the Game and Fisheries agencies, and right down the line, there's like 9 different ones we have to get permits from. That by the time we do get permits, it's too late. I know what Mr. Howard's saying, I don't disagree with him, but we just can't go out there and put rocks on the beach. We can't even go on the beach without getting permission. You know, the revetment over there on Ocean Bluffs, we do have some funding set aside, and that's not the issue, it's the permits, trying to get the permits. Rod, you know, God bless me, retired 3 weeks ago, so Ken and I are trying to pick up the pace a little bit and get back on track with these things. We haven't really gotten there yet. The only thing I can say to Mr. Howard is, I'm gonna have to look into this a little further and see how far we've gotten with the permits. I know I've been back here for about two and a half years. And since I got back here, Rod's been working on the same permits. The federal government does not work fast, we all know that. And I hope that answers your question, Steve.
It does, thank you. So you think your recommendation for the most important first step would be just advocacy for our state and federal partners, just so we can even take a first step at it in terms of the permitting process?
Yes, you're 100% correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have anything else?
No.
And that's why I said in my letter to Trish, when I met with her at the senior center, I'd like you guys to twist the arms of the state and federal officials and say, look, we screwed up in 76. All we did was take rocks off the beach. What the hell is so big about putting rocks back on the beach? I have an email from a friend.
Hold on, Ms. Howard, this is, Greg, can you come in if you don't mind? Because you were the person I was thinking about when this is coming up.
Oh, God. Greg Guimond.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, Mr. Guimond, thank you for joining us at the right time. So Greg, I know we did big beach renourishment over at Green Harbor, and Sean's saying there's regulatory issues in regards to putting rocks or whatever else on the beach. So what do you have any suggestions, and not doing a beach renourishment, but like, I'd say, if we wanted to sample try what Mr. Howard's bringing forward, that putting rocks in the beach, and let's see how that works in regards to collecting the sand. What are your thoughts on that?
So we missed this year's CZM round for the next fiscal year. But you could apply to the coastal zone management for a beach nourishment, which would include cobble, because that's what they have to do. They take, we're gonna need to document what's on the beach and then add in-kind material. It'll probably take 2 years of permitting. And then if we build the beach as recommended in our previous Woods Hole report, which was accepted by CZM, it will probably take us 3 years of successful grants to get the material to build a beach back. And that way, I think it was 75 feet at high tide
I'm going to be
from the seawall.
I'm going to be under the impression that you're talking about beach renourishment on top of that instead of just adding gravel to the sand.
Adding cobble is good. Anything you do to add to the beach elevation, because it's the elevation has sunk, so now it's,
I mean, they lowered the beach by 4 feet when they took the rocks off.
Okay, so,
And it's just that simple.
and it has gone down even further
It
since.
has, it's gotten scoured, it's unbelievable.
So you're gonna need more than cobble, what I'm trying to say. You'll need a beach nourishment. You can get money through CZM and stuff, but it's gonna take a couple of years to get it done. I mean, it took us 5 years for Bay Ave, and we got 2/3 of the beach done. And I'm glad to report that this weekend, some more sand has come back in, so there is a lot less rocks there. We had some people that were concerned
Because
with
of the wind direction.
cobble. Correct. So there's an option there, is the town would go after another CCM grants. It includes Sunrise and Fieldston, the design. The problem is, we tried for 2 years to get the people right on the seawall to sign the easement, and we were 30 people short in the Sunrise Fieldston area. 30 homeowners on the seawall would not sign, even though some of them don't own all the way to low tide. The recommendation was to get the easements, it's the fastest way, and CCM accepts it. So that is, step one would be to get all those parties to sign the easement, and then we could apply for CCM grants.
all right, so, I mean, the signatures, I understand, but you're basing this off grants from the state and maybe the federal government. So, I mean, I'm just looking right now, it's just, if we could start a section, something small, just to get it going without, because you just said that.
You can't do anything without the permits.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. Look, if we can bypass the whole grant process, which you say could take a while, is the permits going to take just as long? Or can we get permits to at least do a trial run in an area and go from there?
We already have a design that was approved by the state.
Greg, may I interrupt?
Go right
Go
ahead.
ahead, Sean.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said it in your previous conversation, Greg, that one of the biggest hurdles is the permits. It takes years to get the permits. Am I wrong by saying that?
Nope.
All right, is there anything that we could do to potentially speed this process up in regards to permitting as a select board, or? we good?
Well, you guys could consider hiring Woods Hole to start the work on getting those permits again. Most of the work is done, but it's going to take a little time. The funding is all state. There's no federal, but there is federal permits that would have to be attained, which is what we had to do in Green Harbor as well. So it's state, local, and federal level permits. And then the next year, you would apply for the material in order to start the beach nourishment.
And are the permits useless without all the easements being signed?
We will not get anywhere without the easements signed. CZM, as part of the permitting process, needs those signatures. Or the town has to show that we own the land. Those are your two options.
Thank you.
If anybody claims that they own the land, then we have to get that easement or take it. And if we take it, there's 3 or 4 years of legal battle that way. So,
You have to, can you say, go to Regus, thank you. Name and address also, please.
Yep, Ellen Howard, 18 Ninth Road. When the new seawall went in, didn't everybody have to sign off on that?
that was
all
a
the
work easement
easement.
on the seawall.
Right, but everybody along the wall had to sign off
For
on
the
those.
seawall construction,
Right.
yes.
So do we know why people wouldn't sign off on the easements for the beach?
We do not know.
No. And,
Give me the names, I'll get them.
yeah, it was just, so is somebody in the town actively going after why?
Not at the moment.
No, but back when you were getting them?
Yes, for 2
so
years,
that-
we tried to get people to
But-
sign it. We had
yeah.
multiple public meetings.
Oh.
We had groups go out and knock on
On
doors.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know, because this, and you've probably seen it, the seawall bottom was exposed this year, so
Right,
how
which
much,
is what was happening in Green
In-
Harbor,
right.
which is why we needed the beach
so
nourishment.
that new seawall,
Yeah.
Don't disagree.
yeah, I'm sure you don't.
But everything that happened in Green Harbor was done
Yeah.
by the federal government with the Currituck. And they dredge the narrows and they take the dredge spoils and dump them offshore instead of on the beach like they used to do.
Yes, and we don't see any change in the Army Corps' engineers on their Caratuck operations, unfortunately. One of the problems we were told by the neighbors in that area was that there were absentee landlords, and that was part of the problem why they couldn't get the signatures. But that has been something that we have been trying for a while. So-
We can get you the list. I'm looking at it right now. We can get you the list of.
But remember, that list is now several years old,
Yes.
and people who have signed it have sold and possibly moved away, so we could have more people that we're gonna have to go through. Yes.
Another wedding coming, huh?
Greg,
Yes.
when you say that they'll replace in kind what's currently on the beach, Mr. Howard mentioned that there were cobbles and pebbles, and now they're not at Sunrise. So would they just put sand there because that's what's there, or would they add in cobbles and pebbles?
Well, they made us add in more cobble in the Green Harbor mix this year,
Okay,
which the residents weren't very happy with, but it did help keep the material on the beach, as Peter had described earlier. It's not just a one and done. They'll have to document the beach at least 4 times over the course of the permitting year to show, because they know, I mean, any given day, you could have, the beach could be different, depending on the wind direction, storms, et cetera.
Yep.
But they will, my bet is they will say, you gotta put in a cobble mix, just like you did at Green Harbor.
okay.
Anything else, Pete, Steve?
No, thank you.
Sean, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I don't, thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean. All right, Mr. Howard, you heard from everybody, this could take
Thank you for your
years.
time.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for coming in.
I really think you need to twist the arms of the government.
I will, we will certainly try and do that. I apologize.
Emergency.
Yeah,
I mean, you start losing properties, it is an emergency.
I would agree.
and they don't want it to recover.
I understand that.
At any rate, thank you very much.
I thank you for your time on this. Much appreciated.
Good night.
I really,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, would you want to take number 6 out of order since we have the treasurer in the audience?
Yeah, that was, actually thinking
Get
about the public use, but we could do number 6. Yeah, let's do number 6.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, are you all set with me?
Yeah, I am, Sean. Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You do the same. Thank you. All right, discussion and vote on authorization of bans and bonds. Sean, you want to come up and speak on this?
All right, so for tonight, we have the rollover of the ban for the Martinson Roof School feasibility project. That's $1,050,000. And then we have the recent sale of bonds, which the net amount that we issued is $3,655,000.
Is there anything else then?
Nope, this is just the borrowing from last year, which was the ban for $939,539, and then the approved $1.8 million at town meeting for capital projects throughout the town.
All right, so I think this is a process that Trish has to
That is
read
correct.
through and then sign off on, if I'm correct.
That is correct.
Every year?
Every year, you can,
Every year.
Okay,
She has to read every year.
and.
Read it word
Every
for
year.
word.
Also,
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Get your water, get your sip of water there and,
I, the clerk of the Select Board of the Town of Marshfield, Massachusetts, certify that a meeting of the board held July 28, 2025, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present. The following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted that the sale of the $3,655,000 general obligation municipal purpose loan of 2025 bonds of the town dated August 14th, 2025, to Loop Capital Markets LLC at the price of $3,858,872.47 in accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and confirmed. The bond shall be payable on August 1st of the years and in principal amounts and bear interest at respective rates as follows. Year 2026, $350,000 at an interest rate of 5%. 2027, $340,000 at an interest rate of 5%. 2028, $340,000, interest rate 5%. 2029, $325,000, interest rate 5%. 2030, $210,000, interest rate 5%. 2031, $170,000 at an interest rate of 5%. 2032, $165,000, 5% interest. 2033, $145,000, 5% interest. 2034, $145,000, 5% interest. 2035, $145,000, 5% interest. 2036, $140,000, 5% interest. 2037, $135,000, 4% interest. 2038, $135,000, 4% interest. 2039, $130,000, 4% interest. 2040, $130,000, 4% interest. 2041, $130,000, 4.125% interest. 2042, $130,000, 4.25 interest. 2043, $130,000, 4.375% interest. 2044, $130,000, 4.5 interest. 2045, $130,000, 4.5 interest. Further noted, to approve the sale of $1,050,000, 4% general obligation bond anticipation notes of the town dated August 15, 2025, payable August 14, 2026, to Fidelity Capital Markets, a division of National Financial Services, LLC, at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $10,384.50. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sales of bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale preliminary official statement dated July 15, 2025, and the final official statement dated July 2022, 2025, each in some form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, and approved and adopted. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes and preparation and distribution of the notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated July 15, 2025, and a final official statement dated July 22, 2025, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the bond shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon such terms and conditions are set forth in the official statement. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver continuing and significant events disclosure undertakings in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such forms as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in bonds and notes as applicable for the benefit of the holders of bonds and notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update such procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and notes and to comply with relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certifications or documents relating to the bonds and notes may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all of which shall constitute
Which one are you reading there?
one in the same document, delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manual executed counterpart signature page to such document, and electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents and all matters relating thereto having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the select board, the town clerk, and town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at a meeting open to the public and that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the place, date, time, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda including the adoption of the above votes and is attached hereto, was filled with the town clerk and a copy thereof posted in a manner of conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or if applicable in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.03, to be at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays prior to the time of the meeting, and remain so posted at the time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decision in connection with the sale of the bonds or the notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Law C-30A, Sections 18 through 25, as amended, dated July 28th, 2025. Clerk of the Select Board. Patricia Simpson, right?
You
have to sign it.
You missed a comma, so you have to start over.
Okay, with that read, do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go with number 4, discussion
We
vote.
need ATM?
Yeah. The
What-
ATM was Sean.
The other one.
Oh, is that Sean as well?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Sean's on that one.
Okay, so number 3.
Okay, so the history with the ATM machine that's located at the Harbor Master Building, there does not seem to be on either party side, whether it be the town or with Leader Bank, any formal signed agreement for this ATM that's located at the Harbor Master Building. There is a serious concern about the security of the device itself because there's been repeated instances of vandalism or someone putting duct tape on the door to keep the locking mechanism of the door open. And at this point, Leader Bank is so concerned because they've removed the canisters, because there's low utilization of the machine, but at the same time, there's a concern about the security of the canisters, but it raises the question, who is ultimately responsible for the security of that device? Is that responsibility being borne by the town and the repairs to that little enclosure that the machine is currently located in, or is that the responsibility of Leader Bank? And so we don't have anything formal between us, the town, as well as Leader Bank. It would be my suggestion for the board to kind of weigh the options to either having the machine stay in place and we come to some sort of agreement as to who's responsible for the repairs and security and the insurance of the machine, or we request that Leader Bank remove the device since it is their device. They're poised to do whatever it is that we decide to do.
So, right now, we are paying $200 a month in rent?
We are paying $200 a month to have that machine hosted at that site. That
Who are
is
we paying
correct.
that money to?
I'm sorry?
Who are we paying that money to?
That's going to the bank, to Leader Bank.
Leader Bank? But after you've done an investigation, I could say, you have found no formal contract or agreement outlining the responsibilities of either party regarding maintenance, security, or insurance coverage for the ATM and its contents. So in the absence of a written agreement, the town is exposed to uncertainty regarding accountability for repairs liability. So, so we're paying Leader $200 for a machine, but, how can I look at this?
If it was providing, I mean, if it was if it was a heavily utilized device, I would say there's some convenience factor that might be tied to having that or justification for having that device on town property, but currently it's underutilized. It's being exposed to repeat acts of vandalism. There's a security concern because there's duct tape that I guess it's being put over the latch mechanism, which keeps the door locked, because you have to have a card or some sort of magnetic card to actually activate that lock on the mechanism for the handle to get into that little enclosure at the Harbor Master location. So that's been tampered with. There's been electrical issues. There's a whole host of issues that have happened over the history of this device down at that location that there is a concern, but at the current time, Leader Bank doesn't want to take any responsibility for the repairs or the security of that machine. I don't believe it's the town. It's not our ATM machine. We're just providing a location for the device, and we're actually paying them to have the device on town property. But if I go back to the utilization, a year's worth of transactions totaling maybe $5,000, $5,800 in withdrawals from that ATM. It's pretty low utilization. 229 transactions in a year. That's pretty low. That's less than 10 transactions a month.
When was the last
Maybe
year?
15.
When was the last transaction made?
Probably over 2 months ago, because they have since removed the canisters from that device because of the security concerns.
Why is there security concerns when it's at the Harbor Master's office and it's probably the most heavily cameraed area in town?
I know, you would think that, but when someone's trying to get into the door and they finally get into the actual enclosure, then they put a piece of duct tape over it because they think they're doing a service to the next person who might have a challenge with getting that door unlocked. They're actually leaving that perimeter exposed. So someone could go in and vandalize the machine or try to steal the machine or break into the machine, what have you. And there's a real concern about liability. Who's bearing the responsibility for liability? Is it the town's responsibility to make sure the perimeter is secure, or is it the bank's? It's the bank's cash, it's not the town's cash.
Right,
But those canisters can hold quite a bit of cash.
right. I imagine so. I'm just kind of baffled in regards to security concerns when there's probably more cameras in that area than you can shake a stick at.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
Whatever's going on, I mean, am I under the impression the police aren't looking into it, or does it not
Because
raise to that level for them, or, I know you can't really speak for them, but,
I can.
all right. I mean, we're paying $200 a month to them which probably should be the other way around, I would
No
imagine.
kidding.
At the end of the
No
day.
argument from me.
Yeah, so, I'm good for, it is definitely the machine, it is Lita's machine.
It is Leader's machine. They have confirmed that. And again, when we looked, and I asked them point blank, do you have an executed copy of a contract for this device when it was installed at this location? They do not have a contract. There is no contract that we have on the town side. I've gone through all of the electronic records. I've asked the town administrator's office to do an exhaustive search in their files to see if something was signed years ago, probably in 2018 or 2019. Nothing exists between us and Leader Bank.
Okay, hold on for a sec, Sean.
Sure.
I can just back that up. So are you saying there's no contract at all?
No.
All right, because the way this is written in here, and this is coming from you, but you just state that, no digital physical records we have found, no formal contract or agreement outlining the responsibilities of either party regarding maintenance, security, insurance, coverage for the ATM and its contents. So am I looking at that, there's no contract for that machine in its entirety? So let's put it this way, Leader Bank doesn't own that machine.
I can't necessarily argue with the fact of the ownership of the machine or the device itself, the hardware.
Well, let's put it this way.
But we're acknowledging that every month that we send a $200 check to them to.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that there's no contract, and you can't find one, they can't find one, and so we keep sending out $200 payments to them. And so that's what I'm trying to understand between that, but also, if there's no contract, and Leader left their machine there for whatever reason, then is it Leader's machine?
It is Leader's machine. They're the ones who service it. They're the ones who have the canisters delivered by the armored carrier that fills that device or maintains that device.
So they are responsible for the maintenance, security, the insurance coverage of the machine, right? If they're the ones that are filling it, maintenance it, and everything else like that?
Correct.
If they've been doing it? I just find it insane that we're paying $200 to them. That's a good deal for them, I'd say. As far as they're not getting more out of us, but it's $200 saved for the town, I guess, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Steve, do you have any comments?
No, but just authorize removing it and good to go.
Trish, any comments?
When you say the canisters were removed, do you mean canisters of money?
Yes.
Okay, so nobody can use it now anyways?
No, cannot, it's not operational at the current time.
Okay. Yeah. So, but we're paying $200 still.
Currently, yes.
Do we already pay for this month?
I haven't gotten the bill for this month, but it's an ongoing conversation. Leader Bank keeps following up with me to ensure that there's a decision made and whether we're moving forward, so that way we can go through the contract negotiations to iron out who's responsible for what in the event that something happens.
Nope, just take the machine.
Okay.
Just take at least my opinion. I don't know how the other two are gonna vote, but
Yeah,
just take the
you can
machine.
drive to Brant Rock Market and use their ATM.
I don't think they have one.
Yeah, they do.
Is it inside?
Yeah,
Is-
so it's
alright.
inside, so it's secure.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, it's not on the wall where it used to be outside of the building, I think it
No,
was.
it's inside.
Okay, so I move to authorize the removal of the Leader Bank ATM located at the Harbor Master Building at 100 Central Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, is that all the business we have with you, Sean?
Yes, that's all the business. Thank you.
All right. I say
Ned.
number,
Are you here for the annual reappointments or for the open space action item?
Sure. Here for the talk about the contents from the green.
Okay. Do you mind?
It's
Yeah.
part of L's.
Sweet. Okay. Perfect.
Oh, is all-
Just-
Oh, wait,
yeah.
no, it's a little different. No, it's not. Never mind.
Else is gonna take a little while, right? I imagine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, now come on up, please. What was the one that,
Number 12.
is number 12? Okay, discussion and vote and request permission to hold summer concert series on Town Green on July 27, 2025, August 3rd, 2025, and August 10th, 2025, with a rain date of August 17th, 2025. All right, Ned, go ahead, pal.
All right, thank you. So we're coming to you a little bit late in the game for this permission. Typically, in the early spring, we'll send out a letter to the Select Board, the Historical Commission, as well as the DPW. We're asking for different functions. To the Select Board, it's to also use part of the town green for the bands to perform, as well as the town hall itself to for bathrooms for attendees to the program, as well as performers to change up if need be. We have members of the Cultural Council. We have 11 members. We have 6 will probably be on hand, and we rotate through the town hall to make sure that the town hall is like it should be. So come Monday morning, people shouldn't even know that there was an event on the town green on Sunday. We've had good success in the past. It's something we've been doing for when I was the recreation director for 34 years, we had concerts on the town green. When I retired, the concerts retired. Cultural Council asked me to come back to help them out because we had several of those members help out the Trails Committee. So I thought what they told me was only be 2 meetings a year. And I think they lied because it's been a little bit more than that. But this is the 3rd year I've been back for the Cultural Council, and it's the 3rd year of the concert series. And there's a great group of people that I'm working with on the concerts, and everyone has something good to add to it. So the next 2 performances, so we haven't had anything on the town green this year because we've been rained out on Sunday. Every Sunday it seems like it's rain. This week it's looking good right now, and we have a group called the Shebop Swing Orchestra. It's a 16-member, all-female swing band, and we've heard great things about them from people up in Abington who have hosted them 3 times, I believe it is, right now to play, and we have at least one resident in town also plays in that particular group orchestra. So we're excited to bring them down. It's been a really diverse concert series this year with 4 events. The last, which will be the Marsh Vegas, Colby Laurier is putting that on with us. And we used to always have a night of high school entertainment, and this is high school grads or recent grads from Marshfield that played music that come back to perform again. So we're looking forward to a really good turnout these next couple of weeks. We've also asked we do have permission from the Historical Commission for the use of the property, and we put in a request today to the DPW looking for trash barrels for that day. We have bags, we just don't have the barrels. So they're working on that to get us some before Sunday.
Like you said, Ned, you've been doing this last few years. It's never been an issue, right?
No, other than people want more
Yeah,
than 4.
that's not a bad thing. Steve, you have any comments, questions on this?
No, thank you.
Trish?
Good.
No.
And I can tell you, one thing different that we're doing this year, or new, we have this
Code?
Marshfield Cultural Council 1-minute survey, and members of the committee made it up, and it's an attempt to find out from residents or program attendees what they're looking for and what age brackets, and how they find out about events and so forth. And we had it made up last week. We've had 160 people do the QR code in the survey, and I can tell you, I'm pleased to report that the way that people find out, the number 1 way people find out about the concerts is through tidbits. So thank you for putting that up there. Jenna does a great job. We send her stuff every week, and she has a way to change it around, the content, to make it feel good, feel better. And so we're real happy with it. People like it. They like the pictures that they see. And typically we do it for the Trails Committee now. These next few weeks will be for the content series as well. Yeah. So if you ever want to hear about this, glad to sit down, show you what the survey is, what people are looking for, and hopefully we can continue on that for next year or the year after.
Do you have an email address for that you put on that as well? Not everybody's with the QR code, but if somebody wanted to email or go on your website and fill out a survey.
Yeah, so right now, thanks to Jenna, they can go on to Tidbits if they signed up for that.
Link.
And this will come out and we'll show them. And then we brought this to the concert yesterday. Seems so long ago, Sunday. And we'll walk around the crowd next Sunday with the sign. We also, so we have a table, we have some flyers that we'll pass out, and we'll have this out there as well. So it's just another way to get the word out and find out that if we're on track with what people are thinking we should be doing, and hopefully what we're doing is what people think we should be doing.
If you want to test out how high definition our cameras are, you could hold it up again for 30 seconds, but slide it closer this way. And people can take out their phones right now on their computer and their TV. If we just change the camera angle for the feed and sign up that way.
It takes less than a minute to fill it out.
There we go.
Why it says it's the 1 minute survey.
So if you could just hold it up while we vote, and we'll see how quick people are to
See how many hits you get tonight
dig
on
their
it.
phones out of their pocket.
That's what we had them do yesterday.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so it worked. Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Thank you, Dad. That's a
Thank
good
you.
idea.
Okay, so I move to approve the request of the Cultural Council to use the Town Green and Town Hall bathrooms for the annual summer concert series on the following dates: Sunday, July 27, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. August 10th, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., with the rain date of August 17th, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Ned, is there anything else before us with you?
We just have a couple of people that are being reappointed on Trails Committee and the
Yeah, I'm
Cultural
up in the air.
Council.
We're going to be taking that up tonight.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no,
we're well
we're,
aware of that. I'm sure the other two are as well.
as long as I get on board again, I'll be happy. But, yeah, so we'll probably, if we can ask IT to have the doors open on Sunday, we'll be here probably 3 o'clock. And I'll be the first one here, and I'll be the last one to go. So maybe between the hours of 3 and 7, if the doors could just be unlocked, then make sure when I leave, everything's good again.
Okay.
All right, that'd be great.
Fine.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right. So, how about number 4? You want to go to number 4? Open space event structure?
Yes.
Michelle Jarvis, would you like to come up? All right, Trish, I think you and Michelle have been meeting on this and have been working hard over the last, at least few months in regards to trying to put this together, and I commend you both. I'm looking forward to hearing everything that is, we've worked out, and if there's anything else that needs to be addressed, and then see if we can make this happen. I'm looking forward to it. So, do you want to give a presentation, or do you just want Michelle to?
Well, Al, do you want to just give us some background why this came about and then how we moved forward with it? And you've been an integral part of this.
Sure.
Very lucky.
Michelle Jarvis, Neptune Road. I think this might actually be our anniversary of how this all came about. Maybe we're a week or two off. I did come before the board this time last year to get permits approved for a beach picnic corporate event on Rexham Beach, in which we discovered in that meeting that the select board of the town in general had been violating a bylaw, and that we did get changed at town meeting in December. It was pretty unanimous. The language is buttoned up that there now can be public consumption of adult beverages on town-owned property through either a permit through the select board, or if you hire an approved 12C licensed catering company. From what I understand, there's 2 in Marshfield. Full disclosure, I am one of them, H. Cole, and then also the Chef's Table down the street has a 12C catering license as well. So we started this process pretty much soon after Trish was elected, and we have had meetings with almost every department now. Thank you to Peter as well for helping facilitate
You did a great job.
the scarier conversations that we had to have in the beginning. But we would like to roll this out in phases. And we know that Marshfield is unique from other towns, that we have a lot of open spaces, which is fantastic. And they are all sort of under different departments' jurisdictions. So what we would like to propose is to centralize all of the events, the open spaces and the policies and procedures to each unique venue on the website, and implement some channels of communication that we have chatted through with Jenna and Kate in the select board office, as well as our harbor master, Mike DeMeo, and the head of the rec department, Craig Jameson. In this first phase, we would like to focus on Town Green, Harbor Park, and the spaces that are not attached to schools through the rec department. And then once the channels of communication and the website is sort of built out, also working in conjunction with town council to put a contract together for the rental agreement, have the second phase be beaches. So part of the meetings that we had were, what do we already have infrastructure in place at these different venues, I keep calling them, because that's what they are when you're renting them to clients, and what specifically police would like not to see happen on these different venues, what DPW can and cannot support as far as just infrastructure and trash removal and things of that nature. We are working with Craig for recreation to go through to identify which venue has water, electricity, how many parking spots. We've pretty much already done that exercise with Mike DeMeo, and the usage fees. So we can start from the top of what the website can and will look like as far as a consumer-facing
Sure.
aspect. So we have identified all of the venues that we're able to offer. And the easiest way to do that is to have that all centralized. What we have found is the rec department has an incredible process in place already for our fields and turfs, which are all sports related. I think Craig's going to be an excellent resource for us as we start to build this out with IT. But first things first, having all of the venues, the amenities, the usage fee schedule, the policies for that specific venue, insurance requirements, and then underneath the catering registration information. So what an in-town, out-of-town caterer, what a temporary food permit is for a food truck versus an actual catering company. I learned this today, or not today, through this process, that if I do something on Marshfield Fairgrounds as a Marshfield caterer, I still have to pull a one-day permit. I didn't know that. I've never done that. So having all of that information there, so there's no, the clients can educate themselves. But once we open this up and it is common knowledge that people can start renting public spaces for social gatherings with alcohol, I do feel as though Jenna and Kate are going to get a lot of phone calls and inquiries. So the more we have on the website to answer the questions ahead of time. We have spoken about between alcoholic beverage licensing and entertainment licensing, sort of putting a graphic flow chart together which is a one-time flow chart of, is it open to the public? Are you selling tickets? Yes, you need a 1 day. No, to sort of make it more visually palatable for people, because ABCC law for the common person who wants to throw a charity softball tournament with beer is not, it will just be much easier consumer facing to have it be a more visual flow chart than a list of requirements. And then also have on here an inquiry form that goes directly to the select board with the contact information, the preferred venue, date, time, number of guests, reasons for gathering, whether the resident, non-resident, nonprofit, which we have tiered pricing structures for that. And then similar to what the process that I went through last year before I came for my last permits, what will happen next is it gets pinged to all the departments that are stakeholders. So police, fire, beaches, or harbor master or rec department, the DPW, we now understand that they sort of want to be as hands-off as possible unless there is wayfinding or street directions that they need to be involved in. All trash removal, all of that, they're perfectly fine for clients to use private companies. Obviously, the health department building would be something where a tent permit would have to be pulled. And then the historical commission does oversee half of the town green, which gets a little precarious, but so then once all of that discovery, quote unquote, is done and everyone signs off, it's the same for a 1 day permit, or if you're the process that I went through trying to rent the beach. Everybody signed off, go get your final permits. They come to this select board, yes, no, on your final permits. They issue the contract, they pay the bill, they get the permits, which is not unlike the process that happens now. Things to note is just organizing a master usage fee schedule. There are going to be some nuances in coding the fees, which is something we've talked to each department. We had a very long conversation with Harbor Master DeMayo, and he very much is in support of monetizing Harbor Park to offset the labor that it takes to host events over there. But just understanding with coding for accounting purposes of when the select board takes that money in and how it gets channeled back to the appropriate departments. Same thing with the rec department. They already have, like I mentioned, a very solid plan in place over there for how they book and monetize the turfs and fields. And that's sort of all we have for systems right now, channels of communication. Obviously, it will be trial and error of what works and what doesn't work, but for the most part, giving the consumer as much information as possible and then streamlining the communication through one channel seems to be everybody's high priority.
So, in regards to the money collected and how it gets dispersed, that's gonna be, I think, something that has to be taken up. I mean, it's something I'm all for, like, if the beaches get used a whole lot, I can't see why not. That money was generated, cannot just go to the beaches. At least, hopefully, if there's a lot of money to be generated, the way I looked at it, especially when you brought it forward last year, Al, that I was like, you know something, if there's another revenue where we can keep the cost of beach tickets and everything down, that is one great resource to put to use. If you or other people wanted to put the beach to use in regards to that, and the town can collect a fee for it, apply it to the beach, and hopefully keep beach fees down or minimize. That'll go a long way. And as regards to all the other places that you guys have scouted out and felt that could be a good use, I'd have no problem with that. I mean, with the rec department, I think they're set up under a 54.5 state law or something like that. So all that money they gathered has to stay within the rec department itself. So I think I'll be under the impression that if we do something like that for the beaches or whoever else, the harbor master, we'll have to, I think the select board would have to I imagine bring it forward at town meeting in regards to how that process be implemented, but I'm certainly not opposed to it.
Real quick on note on that, I mean, for an example of that, Harbor Master DeMeo did mention if they generate enough money, it's possible that they could take a portion of that and go out for CPC funding or like supplemental funding to have public bathrooms. If they can show that the demand is there in Harbor Park, if there's enough events, there's a way to pay for it. Because right now, the restrooms in Harbor Park, the only ones accessible are about 3/4 of a mile down the pier at the Harbor Master's office, which if you have disabled or elderly folks, that's not a very hospitable walk for them
No.
to use the restroom.
I would almost say that, I don't know, let's put it this way, I guess to look at it would be to see how useful the park becomes and what it generates. To
Correct.
add another building in regards to bathrooms, all the work that goes into it, I don't know.
That's a conversation for next
Yeah,
year
I
when
was
it's
gonna say,
successful.
I mean,
Yeah.
but as you bring it up, that would have to have some serious consideration to it in regards to that. Are there any porta potties on the site of it at all?
There are no porta potties. One stipulation that we did put in the guidelines for Harbor Park are that clients do have to provide their own portable bathroom facilities,
facilities.
which would be required by the Board of Health.
Okay. So how, in regards to the pricing, how did you come up with that?
So we can start here with the Harbor Park. This was a conversation, our police chief and beaches and harbor master, we all had a meeting at the same time together with Peter and Trish. So for ceremonies, for a 2-hour rental, we basically just backed out the amount of labor it was going to take for the harbor master department to support orchestrated activity happening in the park. So for non-resident, $350, for resident, $250, and every additional hour on top of that is billed as a supplemental rate. These rates here are certainly aligned with, if not well below, industry standards. And then for a full park buyout, which would be the pavilion, I'll call it the field, and then the ceremony area, $550 an hour for residents and $550 for 6 hours for residents and $750 for 6 hours for non-residents, which would be an hour to an hour and a half of setup, a 3-hour event, and then an hour to an hour and a half of breakdown, depending on how they're loading in and loading out.
Okay, so what I'm under the impression is that when you say it's $250 for the 2 hours, right?
For a wedding ceremony.
For a resident.
Correct.
And then it's $50 for an additional hour,
Correct.
but we're capping it at 1 hour.
1 hour. If they want to do a full 6-hour buyout, they can spend the $550.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was gonna say they might try to play games in regards to.
Yeah, no.
So it will be stipulated, it's capped at 1 hour.
Correct.
And
And we
if it-
also sort of broke the park into zones. So there is already a natural area that ceremonies can take place. There's the lawn, and then there's the pavilion area that would still be open to the public and be able to be utilized by residents, where the ceremony area is very much squirreled off to the right-hand side.
Okay.
So, Eric,
Go
one
ahead,
of the
Trish.
reasons we did this too was, right now, people are, like, the harbor master was handling the people coming to rent to Harbor Park, and then rec goes to the rec department, and then we had all these spaces where nobody really knew where to turn if someone wanted to utilize them. So we're trying to just bring everything together. And I know you said the rec kind of falls under itself, but we're hoping that on the website, we can then just say, this is what the rec department does, and this is how you get to them. So we would steer people there.
Right.
Rather than, it seems like what we've heard is that people will call the rec department to use Harbor Park, and Craig will send them over to the harbor master, and then they'll call here for,
Yeah, there's no definitive who oversees what.
right,
and-
so we're trying to just bring everything all together. And so even for Ned's concerts on the green, it's a nonprofit, and there wouldn't be a charge for it, but he would follow the same pattern, just again, so everyone would get used to following, rather than, yes, you're all set to go, but there would be a paper trail of That's what I see it as.
It's a formality.
Exactly.
And a checklist of insurance, and if they need police detail or fire detail, it's all just lives in one envelope.
Yeah, I would say that if we do on the website, those should be asterisk as a requirement, that those are the things that you need, depending on what you're doing, I guess.
And I did speak with IT, and they are able to do these things and also build an inquiry form for Jenna and Kate. So we spoke to Meg about the coding process for the fees and where the money would go and that type of thing. So we've tried to cover as much as possible. Mel's been a great teacher.
So I see, I'm looking at the price structure here, so you have something set up for Howard Park, but the big one is the beach.
We couldn't come to an agreement on that, so we're doing this in phases. So we were thinking if we could at
Okay.
least do Harbor Park and Town Green right now.
And rec.
The rec,
We got to a great place with Craig on rec, so if we could do
right.
Harbor Park, Town Green, and rec, and at least get the ball rolling on the website.
Then we
Then
can move to another phase, because what was next besides the beaches? The beaches is on our list, but where were we? There were other places.
The only other outlier would be Veterans Park, which we need to have a meeting with them because that's a different organization that oversees the park, but that's, I don't know where they are in their project.
So if I'm seeing how you're doing this, you're, once you get, let's say you got Harbor Park all squared up in regards to how you're gonna run that. So as soon as you get that, you wanna implement that, and then once you get something
We know
else-
that Mike is on board. We know that we have the support of the harbor master to implement this process. So if we are going to have to do the website and the channels of communication, and we know the rec department's on board, can we start now and get the systems in place while we're hopefully getting to a point with beaches where everybody is in agreement on the fee schedule?
All right, so I'm gonna be under pressure, we're not looking for a vote tonight on any of this, right?
We would be looking for a vote to move forward on Harbor Park, Town Green, and the rec, and getting it implemented and moving forward.
And then come back in the future for a vote on usage fees for beaches.
Okay, I see here, open space is overseen by Town Hall and Marshfield Historical Commission. This will have to be a working discussion based on the number of ways the town green is owned and governed. So you don't have any pricing structure set up for there. So what are we looking at right there? 'Cause, I mean, if you're looking for us
Sure,
to
so
vote
Harbor-
on something, I don't know if I want to vote on anything that doesn't have a denomination on it.
Well, that's,
So-
I think that's the discussion that needs to be had. So Harbor Park, again, to wrap that up, there is structure for nonprofit. Our harbor master feels very strongly if it's a free nonprofit event, the park should be free. If it is a ticketed nonprofit event where the nonprofit is generating revenue, to see a 50% discount from a normal social event. So the same thing with the Harbor Park, client must provide bathroom facilities, no stake tents, park has water and power, 50 to 60 parking spots, and client must remove all trash. We can skip to Town Green if you want, or we can go over what the rec department has requested, because I think that is actually going to drive what the fees end up being on Town Green to stay aligned with the three different departments. So as I mentioned, Craig has an awesome, very robust system in place for rental management of the fields and turf. So he has three different tiers, priority groups he calls them. The first is Marshfield High School Sports. He works with Battis on that. They fill in all the calendar. The second is Marshfield Youth Sports. He has a different fee structure for them. And then the last are just like social group rentals. So this would be supplemental income for the rec department. The only other two spaces that he monetizes for social gatherings are for children's birthday parties, and that is in the rec room at the Ventress Memorial Library. People use that space for birthday parties and then utilize the skate park. And then there's a breakout room over at Coast Guard Hill where they can have birthday parties and then use the playground in the fields. He's currently charging $40 an hour for those spaces, largely just to cover the cost of the staff that it takes to be there. What we did the reverse engineering math, the things that he gets the most inquiries for private events are the Adam Keeler Street Hockey Rink, the Barrows Slopes Outdoor Basketball Courts, Coast Guard Hill, so the beach volleyball courts and the sports field, Peter Igo Park, and then again his birthday parties. So as we are here talking about monetizing public spaces for social events where they get alcohol permits, we took all schools off the table, which would be overseen by the rec department. And they would like to have the opportunity to determine the fee based on the scope of the event, but it will start at $150 an hour, which again is below industry standard. So, and largely because the inquiries that are going to come in for these are going to be different. They're not going to be the same cookie cutter event over and over and over. So that being said, we're looking at 6-hour rental for Harbor Park for a non-resident at $750, starting at $150 an hour for private social non-sports events for the rec department. Town Hall, I would imagine, is overseeing Town Green. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know who.
Town Green, I think, is, the Historical Commission, I think, is charge of that.
So from what I understand, the Historical Commission oversees half of Town Green, and Town Hall has the other half of Town
I think
Green.
you might be right about that.
But all of Town Green is typically rented.
Right.
Can I just jump into, another thing to say here is that we're not talking about people bringing coolers. They have to hire someone. A caterer
Yeah,
for alcohol.
right.
I know, but when you're seeing different events, I don't want anyone to think that we're saying that people will be bringing coolers to these events.
Maybe that's another thing that needs an asterisk next to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and that goes back to the flow chart of the alcohol permit. If they are, for example, if I will be here on August 11th to get a one-day permit for the food pantry fundraiser at the Boys and Girls Club. And the reason I have to pull that permit is because it's open to the public and there's money exchanged. If it was a private event for Google at the Boys and Girls Club, I just have to alert the chief of police and Jenna and Kate and say I'm hanging my license on this. And I don't have to come for a one-day permit. But having that as a flow chart on the website, as I mentioned before, will be much easier for people to understand.
Steve, do you have anything to add?
I would be in favor of taking everything that we discussed tonight and putting it up on the town website in the Town Hall Tidbits newsletter for like a public comment, public input period, and then vote at our next meeting. But I think this was like a really helpful progress report.
I like that thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I can send this document, can we decide on what the fees will be for Town Green so I can put that in the document for up on the website? Do you want to keep it aligned
Why don't we
with
keep- why don't we
Harbor
get
Park?
Feedback on it.
I'm sorry?
Why don't we get feedback on it?
Let the residents decide?
See what they say.
What's your, what aligned number do you think would be?
So I think if it's aligned with what Harbor Park is, the space is about the same, the parking is about the same. Obviously, the view is a little bit different,
Yeah.
but the capacity is about the same. Again, free events for nonprofits are free. Ticket events for nonprofits are half off what a resident would pay. I think if we open it up for a discussion, we can just see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I'm already a super fan on Facebook.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I would be fine with having it aligned for public input
Okay.
instead of having it blank.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, further discussion, I would say. It's not going to be zero, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There will be an attachment of a denomination to it, that's for
Well,
sure,
let
so.
her put in something that's aligned with Harbor Park, and then people can say, well, I really think because the view is different, it should be, $100 cheaper, or something like that.
Or they could say, I can go with that price, but increase the price of Harbor Park. Because Harbor Park
that's
has the
also
view and
fair,
all
but
that,
Keep in
so.
mind, Harbor Park doesn't have restrooms, so
Yeah.
you can't charge a premium for an oceanfront property where you have to bring in restrooms.
It could be up for debate.
And we also, we didn't want the numbers to be outrageous. We tried to stay reasonable.
Right.
And I was really adamant about a Marshfield resident discount, because again, our residents pay taxes, but in all fair, these are very fair prices. So, and, I think it was it was so awesome of Elle to put this forward because, yes, she is a caterer, but she's had the experience of working with towns like Duxbury and Situate. So she brings that knowledge and was able to create an outline of what she's been dealing with. So I think it was huge. It was
Oh.
like having a personal consultant.
I know wholeheartedly when Elle and I were discussing this last year in regards to the whole situation, in regards to her trying to get a thing for the beach, and we furthered our discussion on after that, and I'm like, yeah, this is something I can get on board with, you know, but gratefully
Yeah.
you picked it up, Trish, and ran with it with Elle, and it worked out well, so I'm glad. I'm
Yeah, I
glad
mean,
that,
for the
you know,
most
so-
part, once we have had these conversations with the different departments, we're like, oh, yes, it could be easier, and this doesn't have to be as much as a lift if each department tried to figure it out on their own.
Okay.
Which now where the bylaw stands, like, it is what it is.
Work in
We
progress,
have to
that's
figure
all
it
it
out.
is. This is work in progress.
Right,
Hopefully, when this all gets set up, we'll have all the fine details worked out. If there's any
Okay.
issues, those will get worked out. You know, I don't think anything's gonna go off without a hitch at its first start and all that, but the whole thing is
Sure.
that once we identify if there are any issues and all that, and we work those kinks out, hopefully it'll be smooth sailing, and in between, someone like yourself, the business owner, and the clients and all that and everything, their experience will be great, and maybe they'll do it again. So, I mean, my look at it is that, I think, like, let's say if the first one we approve is Harbor Park. I would look at that, maybe put a disclaimer in there, hey, this is our first time, so if there's any issues, just let us know of it, you know, and we'll work it out or something like that, you know, but I think at the end of the day, I think this will be fine, but for everybody, you know, so.
I do have a question about how the feedback, the public comment and the feedback is received and shared. I mean, I know personally the last time that this came around, I will not be on Facebook monitoring this just for my pure mental health.
Yeah.
And that is how the town communicates with one another. So if we do put this on the website and it is public, open for public discussion, is it a Facebook forum that has to be monitored and that's where the feedback is coming back from? Or do people email? Is it
You know
office
something?
hours? Is it?
Is the
Because
issue.
it got really grueling for
You
me.
know, I think you nailed something right there, because I think that was a big issue, especially with that meeting June 30th, is the banter that was going on in regards to it on Facebook. But the whole thing is that there was only a few, maybe a handful of people that reached out to me to ask me, get my thoughts on what was going on. So I think what it comes down to is that Facebook comments, in my opinion, are not official town comments, you say. As if people have comments on it, they should email the select board and give their thoughts right there, and that's what we'll make our basis of. Is that what you're asking? What do you mean?
Yeah, just what, so if we're putting it out for public review and comment in a discussion, where are those comments
It has to be sent to the
going?
select board directly, in my opinion.
Okay, so email the select
What do you
board.
think, Steve?
That makes sense.
Yeah, we'll post it everywhere, but like we'll give more weight to people who email us and are respectful and things of that nature. But we'll post it in all of our communication mediums.
No, I have no problem with
Yeah,
that, but I'm
yeah.
saying, if people want to comment, at least me, I'm not gonna, because I'm not even on Facebook anyways, but you actually reach out to the select board and give us your thoughts. Those are the things that we take into consideration, not someone taking a screenshot of me, hey, this is what somebody, well, you know something, they got a computer and they know how to use it, they know how to email the select board on top of it. you know,
Sure,
so.
and I think there also should probably be an opportunity for public comment at the meeting as well, which we already have the 15 minutes in place, correct?
Well, I mean, we can have an open, like, a
Right.
hearing,
Okay.
somewhat a hearing on it as well, if that was.
For the next
need be.
meeting.
Yeah.
Maybe if people could come and voice their opinions, absolutely.
Yeah, oh, no, absolutely, you know, is there anything, you know, here's the one thing that was, I think between what was released in public last year, I think that's what really got everybody fired up. Are we doing anything with photography?
That's phase 2. So that was another conversation that we had, and
Are you planning on discussing anything with the photographers in town?
there is a plan to have a conversation about photography on beaches if we can get the venues that we know the departments are on board and supportive in a really good manner of ease of usage.
Yeah.
There is a topic of a conversation. It just comes down to the system that needs to be put in place.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
how-
that's all. I mean, look, I think you guys are doing a great job. There's no doubt about it. It's, baby steps, you know, if it takes baby steps to get us over the finish line, then, you know, so be it, you know? I mean, do I like to see this done sooner than later? But, you know, something, if it's gonna take time to make sure everything's done right and everything like that, then so be it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, out of respect for our beach commissioner, like now is not the time to be putting something new on her calendar.
Oh, no.
Like she's drowning. I mean, I am. I'm a seasonal business. We all are. So to wait until after the season is over and put some real, like, rested thought process behind it, I think is only going to be beneficial in the
You know,
future.
I could see that, you know, everybody's busy these days, and, like I said, like, someone, especially in your line of work, this is the time you gotta capitalize on it, so, I don't know if I wanna say you're fortunate enough, if your business slows down, then you can further look into this, then, you know, then I guess that's the time to do it.
Yeah,
and all
she's
that,
busy
so.
all weekend and put this form together. Can I just say two things? One, as far as the photographers go, again, we are not looking for a huge fee. It would just be something, again, where we're getting a lot of out-of-town photographers coming in and using our beaches because Duxbury no longer allows photographers to use the golden hour. So it's just something, again, to help to keep our beaches beautiful, I guess. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
And
we're not
protect our
looking for.
dunes. I mean, the dunes are. Cindy at one point said that there is upwards of like 40 photographers at any given time on a certain week of August.
Really?
And when you think of that much traffic up and down the dunes,
That'll do a lot of damage.
it potentially could, yes.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, that's one reason, but also, we're looking to possibly, every time these photographers come in, they're paying to park. We're hopefully going to include that so that they're not having to pay out of pocket every time they come, so that would be part of the fee. But again, it's not meant to be over the top, that they have to pass that on to their clients or anything, so.
Yeah, there's a big thing you have to work out. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, as far as having public comment too, you know, maybe we missed some things in here and we're open to suggestions and, you know, maybe there are things that we haven't thought of, so.
No, absolutely, that's the
Yeah.
one thing to put it out there. I mean, you know, nobody wants to really see, like, I guess anybody complain about it, but the whole thing is that, to get potentially positive feedback, but as well as helpful suggestions in regards to how to make this work well, we'll
Absolutely.
go a whole long ways for it, you know, and somebody has an event there and it's and then someone made a suggestion, hey, you should do this, and that makes a big difference in regards to that person's, how can I look at it, their success of their event, then, yeah, absolutely, you know, so we're public officials and all that, so we gotta take the good with the bad and all that, so I mean, you know, compliments and complaints and all that, but good suggestions from people like the gentleman, Mr. Howard, that was here today in regards to the beach, great suggestions. The only thing is that when you have other factors getting in the way of it, to do something about it, you know, some things are out of your control, but in this, take those suggestions, I think we shouldn't have any problems. If we think they work out well, then implement them and we'll go from there. See how it works
Yeah, and we
out.
can always change the system. We can always change the way that we communicate with each other.
Absolutely. So, do we need like to vote to put this on the website, or how we want to do this, Peter?
Just direct that it goes to the website and,
For public comment?
yeah, for public comment. You don't need a vote at this point because you're
So-
not improving anything.
All right, so don't vote on,
Yeah,
Just say-
take it under advisement for now and.
I'll leave it up to
on
you
the
and Jenna to
website.
put it up on
Put
the,
it on, yeah, and we'll put it on an agenda probably the next meeting. That works for you.
the next meeting or two. I don't,
It's
you know,
I have to be here anyways.
Yeah.
For 1 day permit
Okay.
format. So yeah.
all right, we'll put it on and then, you know, something for ready to take it up and make a decision on it, then
Yeah.
then we'll do it then.
You want to, we'll have the input, you can look at it, you can figure out whether you want to tweak it at the meeting, and then you can go from there.
I would say when you put it up on the town website for people to look at it,
You can,
highlight them that comments to the select board
okay.
would be the way to do it.
I have another question. I have not communicated with town council yet on a usage fee contract. Trish
But I
had,
had mentioned it to him, and he said.
Trish had
once we-
mentioned, and he said ready. I didn't want to start that process unless I knew we were moving forward. Would it behoove us to create that document in anticipation of the next meeting and have that voted on as well? Or do you need that
I mean,
document
if
to vote on?
you, Trish, and Bob can put something together, by then, fine. I mean, let's put it this way, if the next meeting, if we're all satisfied to move forward in regards to voting on whatever's before us between the fee and all that, but we don't have a legal document, we can always put an addendum in pending on approval of a legal contract,
Okay,
all right?
all right. I'll shoot you an email. Great.
You
Thank
good?
you.
Thank you.
Good,
Have a
Steve?
great night.
Good, yep, all good.
Thanks. See you next
Thank you, Michelle.
time.
Okay, let's do the public comments, public comment policy that Trish is asked to put on, and she has some suggestions in regards to it. So Trish, do you want to
Sure.
take the lead on this? And
So we don't really, actually, I started thinking we don't really have a way to answer the residents that come in and speak during our public comment time. So I just thought we should have a structure in place that either we put it on an agenda, future agenda, or that the town administrator or the chair would get back to them in an email. But then I started thinking about public comment in general and thought we should come up with a structure for the comment, the public comment in general. And then I also had someone come to me during my office hours and offer some suggestions to this. So the purpose of public comment is to provide residents an opportunity to share input with the select board, to ensure transparency and community engagement, and to maintain order and fairness during meetings. As far as timing and structure, designated periods, public comment is scheduled at the beginning of our meetings. Typically, it's about 2 minutes. I did have someone ask that 2 minutes, or mention that 2 minutes might be a little too short for someone bringing something new to the table, so asked if it could be 3 minutes if it is a new topic. And they also asked if we could place a visible clock for the speaker to see so that they're not being, okay, you have 2 seconds left, because, it's kind of jarring, and then they can kind of monitor. The total public comment period is capped at 15 minutes. Should we restrict it to the number of speakers instead, or leave a 15-minute time limit? And then in order to save time, there was mention that maybe have the speakers line up in order that they sign up for, so that they're not getting up and walking over. And again, not that we're in any rush, but it would allow for us to get through more speakers if we're going to limit the 15-minute mark. We do have a sign up, so when you show up, you sign up to speak. Priority is given based on sign-up order, and, are we going to ask them to stand at that time? Guidelines for speakers: address the chair. All remarks must be directed to the chair, not individual board members or attendees. One-time speaking rule: each person may speak once per comment period. No yielding time. Speakers cannot donate their time to others. And group representation. So if groups are here to talk about the same issue, it would be nice if they decided on one speaker to address the issues. Content and conduct. Viewpoint neutrality. Comments must be allowed regardless of opinion. Prohibited behavior. Personal attacks, profanity, or disruptive conduct will not be allowed. And then demonstrations such as booing or clapping may be restricted. As far as the board response, The board's not supposed to engage in dialogue during public comment. Factual clarifications may be offered by the chair if appropriate. And then written comments, if time runs out or a speaker cannot attend, written comments may be submitted via email or physical letter. These are shared with the board and may be read aloud or entered into the record. And then enforcement and flexibility, the chair may interrupt or end comments that violate decorum, call for a recess or adjournment if disruptions occur, and waive procedures to promote efficient meeting flow. After the meeting, some of the follow-up might be, in Nantucket, they have a for the record page where they post answers to public comment questions after the meeting. That way, it's out there for all to see. The TA or the chair can offer written comments to the individual, or the item may be placed on the agenda so that we can get more information on what is being discussed. So those were just some suggestions.
Nope, all good suggestions in my opinion. So each speaker is typically allowed 2 minutes. Should we offer 2 to 3 minutes? So I would look at that. I think maybe the speaker, if they have something longer to say, notify the board, hey, it's gonna take me 3 minutes to read through this. As long as, we'll set it at 2 minutes, but if they inform us that it's gonna take them about 3 minutes to read through, then that's the requirement, in my opinion. I would agree with the clock. I'm also thinking that in regards to your idea to keep a flow, the speaker's getting up, I'm wondering if we, with that clock, should be like a bigger clock where we can maybe assign, like, we have it all numbered. So with the clock, you know, number 2, and they should be keeping track of where they are, so that way they should already be in the pipeline.
On deck?
On deck, yeah, to get up and speak once, you know,
That's,
the
yes.
first speaker's up there, whoever just signed it is number 2, they should be ready to go, and then whoever's number 3,
Yes.
that would be my thought to it. The sign-up process, speaker sign in before the meeting begins, what we have right now, prior is given based on the sign-in order. Yep, please stand in the order of the podium. I think we just,
Yep.
we highlighted that. So guidelines for speakers. All remarks must be directed to the chair, not individual board or member attendees, which I would agree with. One-time speaking rule, each person may speak once per commented period. No yielded time. Speakers cannot donate their time to others. Well, that's one thing I've kind of not. I always thought, especially when I went to school committee meetings, is that, or even town meeting specifically, because there'll be people that run out of time and they have more to say, but there are other people there that have time that should be able to yield. They may not be speaking, but they should always be able to yield their time to that person if they wanted to finish something up. I know it's something that's a no-no at town meeting, but I've always felt that that's something that should be allowed, especially if somebody wanted to finish up. It's only 2 minutes in my opinion, but it's something to think about and everything. And I do agree with you, like the groups, if there's a group matter, that there should be one designated person to speak and keep the process going, or the flow going. Comments must be allowed regardless of opinion, yes. Prohibited being personal attacks, profanity, or disruptive conduct. In my opinion, we may be crossing the line there with First Amendment conduct. And Bob, what would you say to that?
Personal.
Sorry, it's better than it was.
No, it's good.
The Barron Kalenda case from the SJC says that you can't control the conduct in the message. You can control the conduct, you can't control the content of the message. And that people are going to appear before you and they have the right to even be profane,
Right.
Animated, things like that. They can't threaten somebody and they can't cause a disruption in the meeting room, like yelling fire in a crowded theater or something like that. You can't do that. But other than that, you pretty much got to let them have their say.
Well, let's put it this way, because I think this also puts, Trish always has demonstrations, clapping, booing, maybe restricted. So when you say it can't be disruptive, I mean, let's take June 30th, with the Chief Tavares there, and the
Well, there was a
way
gen-
some people acted that way, so I
There
mean,
was a gentleman that spoke out of turn and was disruptive, and I think he was profane. And I think the board has the right to warn that person that if their conduct continues, that you only have to warn them once, then you can have them removed.
no, there was one gentleman that said something, and when I looked
I
up,
heard something profane in the back, and
yeah,
it wasn't by the
and he
speaker.
exited right afterwards, so.
I think he had the good sense to leave
Yeah.
before he was removed. That was borderline threatening in the manner that was said. But someone who comes in here in public comment, signs their name up and wants to tee off on the board because that person is very passionate about an issue, you have to let them have their say now
Right.
under the SJC case. And sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yep.
And they can be profane, but what they can't do is threaten any board member, threaten anybody else in the crowd, with physical harm. And they really shouldn't threaten or cause somebody to become in fear of physical harm or imminent bodily harm.
Right.
None of those types of things are acceptable. But your main control now is on the timing. So I think there's a lot of people that might have something to say that they can't say in 2 minutes, though. And you might want to hear what they have to say.
No, I
And I
don't
think
disagree with that, but that's why I said that, something, I'd say, because, I don't know if you hear, Steve, when you might have been out, but
I
it's fine,
think
Tricia was like, so I think 2 minutes is a good starting point. If they feel they need 3 minutes, and they should ask the board, or let the board know anyways.
Here's
But
my
it's- yeah.
advice. Give them 2 minutes, and if their time is up and the board wants to extend more time, extend them more time. Maybe they need 5, but, in the world that I live in a courtroom, I've heard judges say, if you can't say it in 5 minutes or less, it's probably not worth hearing. So, I think 2 minutes is not bad. If you think 3 is better, then do 3. But I think if someone gets to the end of their time and you think that they're making some points and you want to hear them, just take a sense of your board. Do you want to allow the speaker to continue and give them that time? Because I'm sure that there are people that are coming in here with something valid to say that they can't just say in 2 minutes.
No,
And you probably
I get
want to
that.
hear it. But take it on a case-by-case basis. Because the only control you really do have as a select board is the time. Because you can't control the content of the speech.
Correct.
All right.
All right,
I mean,
Bob.
we, by the way, we do have a policy that the board adopted. And I don't know whether you've seen that policy.
You
but-
talking about the public comment policy?
Yeah, the public
Yeah,
comment
yeah, we took that up last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
does it say how we address them? How that we answer?
Oh, you didn't know we had a
No, I
policy?
have it right here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what are you looking for?
I don't think it ever said how they should be answered.
Oh, because it doesn't. Public comment is for the citizens to speak to you all and tell you all what's on their mind on whatever topic they want to talk about. You want them to talk about things that you can control. You don't want them to talk about the weather in Antarctica. Okay, but what I would suggest, and what a lot of select boards do, is if something comes up and you think it warrants a response, any one of the 3 of you could ask that the matter be put it as a agenda item on the next meeting, and then the 3 of you can respond.
No, I mean, Trish did have that down here.
Yeah, I heard her say something like.
Yeah, no, in regards to, somewhere in there, in regards to the person coming back. And the whole thing is that, like, with Mr. Howard, I'm like, that was perfect, because he had an issue, but he sat in front, explained himself, and then we were able to communicate with him, and I was like, that was good, so, I mean, yeah, that was something that I think worked out well in the all around.
Yeah, the problem for you all is if you get into a discussion on a topic that's not on your agenda, you run the risk of violating the open meeting law.
Right.
So what I would suggest is you consider just saying, look, at Mr. Howard had a great topic, let's put that as agenda item on our next meeting, and then you guys are free to speak as much on that issue as you want.
Right.
I think that's the appropriate way.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's the only way, and you all might have a better way of doing it.
But if I could just jump in, I think what you're trying to do is provide some structure
For feedback.
as far as, when somebody's saying, my trash didn't get picked up, or there's a pothole on my street or something, that there be follow-up and.
Right.
Yeah,
And so you're just, that it should fall to me to let the board know what we did about it, subsequently. Sometimes it belongs on an agenda, sometimes you may want to address it directly, but some things should go to the staff to, to address and follow up and then report back to you.
yeah, I mean, people do that as is right now through email in regards to matters and all that. you
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
I've been doing my best to get back to all of them, or either that floated out to whoever the charge is under, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think Peter gave a really good example. Someone might come in and complain about the condition of the street, and, you're perfectly happy to hear that, but ultimately, it's up to the Board of Public Works or the superintendent to deal with it. So that would be a circumstance where staff just contacted DPW, and DPW addressed it. And, as a part of their report to you, they could say, following up on Mr. So-and-so's comment, we referred that over to the DPW and they're addressing it.
Okay.
But I mean, if it's a matter that you all need to discuss, because it's within the matter of scope of your jurisdiction, add it as an agenda at the next meeting, and
Yep.
perfectly appropriate for a discussion.
Absolutely.
I also think sometimes people come in with, they want to talk about something that we've already addressed, so it's well-known. And if we even just put on the tidbits, like, for the record or whatever, just like Nantucket has, but, to reiterate what that answer is so that everyone knows it.
Frequently asked questions.
Frequently asked questions, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Something like that. So.
You could have a continuing list, because you might get a new one, but maybe we should develop a frequently asked questions and have it on the website. I mean, the one that I always see online is trash going to be picked up this week, or is it delayed? And some of it is in jest, but seriously, it's not simple to remember whether trash is delayed by one day on some vacation weeks.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the one I always see.
So enforce and flexibility, the chair may interrupt or end comments that violate decorum, call for recess or adjournment if disruptions occur, waive procedures, or promote efficiency meeting flow, which I don't have a problem with any of those. After the meeting, follow-up, sometimes Nantucket maintains for the record pages where they post answers to public comment questions after the meetings. The TA or chair can offer written comments to the individual. Agenda placement, if a comment raises a substantive issue, the chair may suggest placing it on the future agenda, which I am, for the most part, as a chair, probably good with. Steve, do you have any comments or suggestions in regards to this?
No, it makes sense. I think we covered kind of what's in our policy right now, some of the
Yeah.
things that we wish we could do, but we can't. I think it makes sense. I think one thing you were driving at, Trish, was to have maybe some sort of, like, for lack of a better word, like a matrix or a spreadsheet to keep track of who's emailed us and what our official response was that went out and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yep, that makes sense.
All right, so I don't see anything for a vote on this. Is there anything, Trish, on this that you brought up that's not currently on our policy that you would like to see going forward after our discussion tonight, that you would like for the board to vote on to adopt or rescind in our policy that was established last year?
Peter, can we get a clock?
Can we get what?
A clock?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Yeah, we should be able to find the clock.
Clock for our speaker.
We got a scoreboard.
Yeah.
MC Hammers, desperate.
Well,
for
I
more.
mean, yeah, I mean, well, let's put it this way. I mean, we can get any clock, or what kind of, do we want a digital clock that can be visible to everybody on the screen, and then it's gonna be controlled by a wireless thing? I mean, I'm all for a clock, just what kind of clock do we get?
We'll come up.
You know?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'll come up with.
The clock is one thing. Is there any language in here that you want to?
No fewer than 3, no more than 5 options.
So no threats or disruptive behavior.
Different color bulbs.
Yeah. You know, maybe at the conclusion of public comment,
Yellow. for-
you all can say, I would like topic 1, 2, and 3 to be responded by staff, and topic 3, 4, and 5 be listed on the next agenda at the conclusion of the public comment. And
Okay,
I think that'll give you the ability to
Follow-up.
set the direction for the follow-up.
great. Maybe,
At the conclusion of public comment, the chair will assign matters to staff for response and matters for future discussion.
okay. So what I can do is I can take the sign up, and then I will just note what's gonna happen, and then you can say what's gonna happen. Right?
So you want to write down,
So.
put in right here, what should take place at the public comment,
So
right?
Dave Carrier spoke tonight.
Yep.
And he wants it on, no, he just wanted to give us an update, so there would be no response. So I'll just write no response, but if someone came on and, we need to put it on the agenda, we'll place on agenda, and so you would say, Mr. Howard, you'll be on next week's agenda.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. That's a good way of doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Great,
I like that. All right, so Trish,
Yes.
I like that. I would say, I don't know if you want to add in, if you want to change the policy, even go through that, but in regards to 2 minutes, the possibility of 3 minutes, but I mean, you can also leave that up to the chair.
yeah.
At
I
the
say-
discretion of the chair, instead of having a policy, the chair can make the determination if they want the person to go for 3, 4, 5
Yes.
minutes, whatever like that, right? And, should we restrict the number of speakers? I don't think we should do that. And then, these are things I just marked up. Speakers cannot donate their time. That's one that, I wouldn't mind somebody doing that if they never, but somebody wanted to finish up if need be. And then, if a comment raises a substantive issue, the chair may suggest place in the future agendas, which you get that. So I think we're good on that aspect, in my opinion. You think we're all good, Steve?
I think so.
All right, you?
Good.
Okay. All right, let's take up number 7.
Okay.
So that would be discussion and vote to accept and sign delegation agreement for the soil assessment center between the town of Marshfield Police Department and the Massachusetts Human Resources Division. Discussion and comments from the select board, if any. Bob,
I can explain this if you want.
you can explain this?
Yeah.
All right, all right, Peter says you can, unless you want to hang out for a moment.
The assessment center, I can explain it.
Okay. If you need me, I'll stay, but otherwise I was going to take off.
Your call, Peter.
He can, I got this.
You got this?
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Bob.
All right, here's my, I got many questions on this.
Okay.
So, who established this, this agenda item?
This came from the police department, and it came from civil service because of the police department planning to do an assessment center for the selection of a police.
Okay, so, the police department is pretty broad. Who put this together from the police department?
I would say that it would be signed off by the chief.
So Chief Tavares,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they're not here tonight to take this up. Unless he's on Zoom. So is this a format from the state or the
Yes.
police department come up with it?
So this is part of the civil service process. The police department is governed by civil service.
Yep.
There are 2 ways that you can do promotions in civil service. One is completely by the score on the exam that they take, and the second, which would provide 3 candidates, and then the select board would choose amongst those top 3 which one. But to better inform the hiring process, to go beyond the exam, an assessment center is is allowed. And what that is basically an evaluation process that tries to mimic real-life situations and performance and use of discretion in certain environments or situations. The state approves the assessment centers or the assessment companies that are used. The town can choose from an approved one and use that vendor. So the process is, again, it's governed by HRD, which is civil service, and it's basically used to, in addition to the exam.
So, in regards to how this is written, if I was to take out, let's say, my name and a couple other things in here, is this the way that HID sends it out to everybody?
Yep. Yeah. This is their form.
Okay, so we have a delegation administrator who, it would be signed to me, so is that standard?
You could either have for you to sign it, or you could delegate to me to sign it. I've signed these in the past for towns, so it's.
So the whole thing is that I see a whole bunch of terms here in regards to delegation administrator. But I don't have anything to really back up, I think, regards to it. So what is a delegation administrator? I see things that show my responsibilities, which when I first saw this, I'm trying to take all in, but not really having any clear understanding of this, especially when I have what was it?
So
Before, I think
So-
it's 5,
things that.
numeral 5.
Yeah, you can make me the delegation administrator. Basically, what, you will get a report on the assessment that's done, any audits of the assessment, if there's appeals, things like that. It basically gives you standing to receive the reports.
I mean, you could be a delegation administrator, but the whole thing is that where you work for the select board,
Right. You would, under the town charter, the way the charter is written, I wouldn't have the authority without you authorizing me to have that authority.
yeah, because I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at this, it's got my name on it in a couple of spots, and I'm like, well, one is, I don't know why I've been chosen outright when I have 2 other counterparts with me, and the whole thing is that, I'm thinking, well, we do have, I don't want to say interim, but a town administrator, that probably is a little more familiar with this process.
So if you're more comfortable with me doing it, then a vote from the board to delegate me to act as the delegation administrator for this assessment center.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fine. I'll call them. They'll send it out with my name on it, and and we'll be all set.
yeah, 'cause I don't know why I wasn't, I'm trying to figure out when I was reading this, why I wasn't apprised of this, first of all,
Yeah.
before.
Pro forma, it's, your role is basically to just open the mail on this, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is that, I mean, I wish whoever was putting this together came out to me and says, hey, Eric, this is the thing, before you put a legal document together with my name on it to explain it to me and all that. And I'm like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, holy mackerel, I'm like, what is this? I was like, I wouldn't even know where to begin unless somebody sat down and taught me. And nobody, I don't know who put this together. I know there was a name put out there, but nobody decided to sit down and talk to me about this before putting this together, which is pretty disturbing to me. So I do want to go through a couple of things just to clear up here. A report on any audit findings regarding delegated personnel transactions will be made available to the delegation administrator. So when they say like audit findings, what are they?
So if somebody appeals, two things. One, they do an internal audit to do quality control, to look at the assessment center. And if they find any problems with how it was conducted, if like, say, one of the questions that was asked was inappropriate, or somebody who was engaged in the grading of the assessment was inappropriate, they would report that back to you.
So when it says assessment center vendor, is that saying that we haven't chosen anybody yet? Or is that the name of a company?
No, there's approved vendors, there's approved companies.
Okay, so that's just the
Right, catch-all.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so is there a bid process in regards to?
No, because it's a small amount of money,
What's a small amount of money?
a few $1,000s.
Few thousand?
Yeah, a few.
Okay, and I do know that if there's a thing in here in regards to the cancellation, if they did not own up to their end of the bargain here. So how the payment's gonna be made to this company, and if we did have a problem with them, we're gonna have payments based on performance.
Yeah.
So if there is a screw up, we didn't just give them the whole kit and caboodle.
Right, right.
The cost of all services, forms, and materials provided directly by HID shall be assumed by HID unless otherwise agreed to by both parties. All the costs of all the delegation functions set forth here are responsibility of the town of Marshfield Police Department. So, what would be the cost of the town of Marshfield Police Department?
I'll get you the exact cost on this, but it's nominal. It's not gonna,
It's nothing, it's nothing that's gonna be,
No, I did an entire chief of police search for under 20,000, so it's not, and
well,
this is just a
that's not chump
promotion.
change.
Yeah, I know, but that's like advertising and months of work. This is a one-day, one-off, where you're basically usually taking chiefs from other departments that are well-respected and having them sit in and help you with your assessment. So you're paying for lunch and putting that together, and that's about it. And then the formal, putting the assessment together, the vendor will put it together in a way that should withstand scrutiny or appeal.
And I should say, I mean, when I was looking at this, I wasn't too sure what I was going into, but it was letter H, Roman numeral 2, letter 1. Except otherwise stated in this agreement, the town of Marshfield Police Department shall except otherwise stated in this agreement, pay all attendant costs associated with the development, administration, and scoring of the Police Lieutenant Assessment Center. So, do we have somebody retiring as a lieutenant?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's not public yet in regards to who's,
Oh, I believe there's a vacancy now.
there's a vacancy now?
I believe
Okay.
there is, yeah.
Ensure proper posting of the examination announcement in all department stations. So is this examination, is this just gonna be inclusive to Marshfield? Or are we
Yes.
gonna broaden it out to?
Nope, it's just, this is an internal, people that have taken the exam, and it's generally people in the department will take the exam and be scored on it. It's very unusual to go outside on these.
Even in civil service?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Okay, all right, so generally it's an internal thing is what you're saying.
yeah.
All right,
Usually you'll have sergeants, and you may have patrol that will, try to skip over a rank, but very rarely. But generally, you'll have several sergeants applying for this position.
Okay, and then, yeah, all the other ones, everything else that kind of questioned had my name on it. You should be, I think you'll feel comfortable doing it, right?
Absolutely, I've done this before.
All right.
Yep.
I know, because when I was watching, when I was reading, number 5 here, the delegation administrator will be responsible for refunding any examination process fees paid by the applicants if
Yeah,
things
and
go
I've-
wrong. Like,
yeah.
I want that bill hanging over my head.
That's not happening. But I have, as part of an assessment center, I have appeared and defended the assessment center as a witness before, so, can do that too.
All right, let's put it this way. I just want to, I do want to publicly state that I am not happy that this was put together, especially with my name on it, in such an important matter. And I will have to say that Chief Tavares, if he did put this together, and he is the chief, and I would have to imagine that it was him, certainly should have contacted me in regards to this, and sat down and talked to me in regards to this whole matter. I am not the least bit thrilled in such an important matter that I was not apprised of any of this until it was in my binder. So, with that said, Steve, do you have any questions or comments on this?
No, we've had other stuff from like the state that we've received where they just usually put the chair's name in by default. So that probably is a large part of it. But beyond that, I thought you covered it pretty well with your Q&A with Peter, so I don't have anything to add.
I appreciate that, Steve. Trish, you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's pretty standard. My husband went through many exams, and it's just, you hire out, and I agree with Steve, they probably took the chair's name and put it in. That's all it was.
Yeah, all right, well, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, there's a couple of people that could have been the delegation administrator. I'm just trying to figure out who was, and if the chief is the one, Peter's saying the chief is the one that puts this together, then,
No, HRD does, I'm sorry. The chief will tell HRD that we want to do an assessment center, and HRD, which is the state civil service, they put this letter together.
and they just randomly pick my name?
No, they looked up to see who the chair was. So,
All right,
Yeah.
well, you know something, I'd like to know how this process went along, because I'm not thrilled that this is how it's gone. I was not given a heads up. This is not correct in any form of the fashion, in my opinion, so. All right, so I think this would require a vote, but the thing is that, we have some language to correct here, so should we hold off on this, Peter, or how should we handle it?
what you can do is say that, what you should do, if you're not comfortable signing it, Mr. Chair, you can designate me as, with the authority to act as the delegation administrator. I can inform HRD, they can come back with it, and you can authorize me to sign it if it's satisfactory.
All right, so the motion states here that I move to accept and sign delegation agreement for the soil assessment center between the town of Marshfield Police Department and the Massachusetts Human Resource Division. So, in regards to that motion, should I say,
Yeah, and-
stipulating that Peter Moran is going to be the delegation administrator?
Correct.
Okay. So, I move to accept and sign the delegation agreement for a soil assessment center between the town of Marshfield Police Department and the Massachusetts Human Resource Division, stipulating that Peter Moran will be the delegation administrator. I think that's it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Are we good on that, Peter?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go on with 8. Discussion and vote to accept and sign deed for 0 California Street. So this is a donation, would I say?
Yeah, it's basically donation of land for a nominal fee, for less than $100 in consideration, which is basically minimal, just to, allow you to accept.
So I just read the quick claim deed on this and then motion it, I guess?
You wouldn't have to even read it. You
No?
could say, you could move to accept the donation as described in the deed.
Okay. Steve, do you have any questions or comments on this?
We're on 8 now.
That'd be correct, yes.
I do not, thank you.
Trish, do you have any questions or comments on this?
No, I don't, thank you.
So everybody appears to be good with this then. Okay, I think I'm good with it. So, I move to accept and sign the deed granting the town of Marshfield land situated on California Street, lot G12-19-18, in Marshfield to be held under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission for open space and conservation purposes. Do I have a second?
Second?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Action on discussion of vote appointment of culture. You know something, I don't know, I think we should hold that off, action 10, until if we're gonna just, I want to bring forward the rest of the appointments. I don't know who's in that position. I don't know if there was an even opening
I think there was.
in the cultural council.
There was a
Was there?
vacancy.
I don't have it on mine. Do you have
No,
something on
it's
yours?
this one.
You have it there. I don't have.
It's at the back of
vacancy.
your binder.
No, I get that, but I think this is the most updated. Jenna, in the back of the binder, it states that there's an opening for cultural council, but the report you gave me, vacancies query, 7/21/2025, there's nothing here for cultural council, so is there?
We had a resignation. In
Ju-
cultural council, we had a resignation in cultural council, and the chair of the board recommended that Kimaruka be appointed and Steve Cooper.
Okay, all right, I see what you're saying now. All right. Okay. Steve, do you have any comments or questions in regards to Kim Aruka?
She'll be a great fit. The board felt the same, so I think it'll be a good match.
Okay. Trish?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. I move to appoint Kim Aruka to the Cultural Council for the remainder of the 3-year term. Do I have a second?
Second?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Discussion and vote on request permission to hold Run for the Hills 5K on September 1st, 2025, Marshall Hills General Store. So I'll just read the letter here. Dear members of the board, this is to inform you that the Marshall Hills General Store is planning to host a 5K Run for the Hills fun run on Monday, September 1st, 2025. The run will begin at 10 a.m. on Old Main Street. Turn left on Pleasant Street to the end, left on Summer Street, and left again on Prospect Street to the finish. The route allows runners to stay on the left-hand side of the road against traffic and provide the convenience of a loop route rather than point-to-point route. Volunteers in the community will be posted along the route to assist runners. There will be a nominal entry fee, and the race will be concluded by 12 o'clock noon. The proceeds from the race will be used to benefit the Marshall community via the general store's discretion, in particular the funding of a scholarship for a deserving graduate of Marshall High School. It is hoped that the race will remain an annual event and an opportunity for the entire Marshall community to participate in the fund. I've addressed some questions from a previous years below, course route and what organization that proceeds. Sincerely, Dave Will. So this shows a race route here. No officers from the police department. That's it. Do they need, they don't need anything for insurance, do they? Anyone need, no,
Jen?
anything for insurance on this?
Not at the town as a named insured, no.
No?
That's not usually required for
Okay.
this.
I move to approve the request of the Marshfield Hills General Store to hold a 5K Run for the Hills Fun Run on Monday, September 1st, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., pending approval from the police and fire departments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Action number 13, discussion and vote on temporary entertainment license application, Marshfield Community Rib Cook-Off. Address of applicant, well, let's see, name of applicant, Marshfield Community Rib Cook-Off. Address of applicant, 61 Chandler Drive, Marshfield, Mass. 02050. Location event, Marshfield Fairgrounds. Description event, Rib Cook-Off. Date and time event, September 6, 2025, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Entertainment, there'll be live music and amplification system. Estimated number of persons will attend, about 4,500. Person of contact for this application, Stephen Hulk Sheen. Will there be a tent? Yes. There'll be food served at the event? Yes. Let's see, we'll have 6 detailed police officers, 2 MTs, and have met with MPT to discuss any and all safety measures. We will contact the Board of Health and have all required certification by all vendors and participants. And that's it. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, it's a great event. It gets bigger every year.
Yeah.
It's cool to see how much it's grown, and it just shows what great community we have in Marshfield. So I just
Absolutely.
love it.
Trish?
One of my favorite events.
Yeah, I haven't, so I'm gonna put this down the date and try and make, I don't think I've been to one of these just yet, but I'll have to make a point this year.
Definitely.
I always say that we should make like approval contingent on like us being the judges.
That's not a bad idea. It's,
Oh,
I don't know if that could be, I don't know if that, I don't
Wouldn't try
know if that
that.
could work out well for us, though,
I
you
wouldn't
know?
try that here. Other towns, it would be nothing big, but yeah, you never know.
Okay, I move to approve a temporary entertainment license to Marshfield Community Cook-Off for live music and amplification system at the Marshfield Community Rib Cook-Off located at the Marshfield Fairgrounds, 140 Main Street on September 6th, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., contingent on approval from police and fire departments and Board of Health. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right, let's see, number 14 is discussion and vote on date change for temporary liquor license previously approved on 6/16/2025, Historic Winslow House Association. Hi, Kate and Jenna, per my conversation with Kate this morning, we had to change the date of event to do a change in our reenactor schedule. The permit has been issued 8/9/25. Attached, please find a revised insurance certificate for a new date. So the insurance certificate has been changed, and license, and that's it. So questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, questions or comments?
No thanks.
Okay, I move to approve a date change on the temporary wine and malt liquor license of Kathleen O'Connor of the Historic Winslow House Association for the 18th Century Tavern Night event at the Historic Winslow House, 634 Careswell Street, with a new date of August 2nd, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Number 15. Discussion and vote on request permission to accept donation. Ventures Memorial Library. The Friends of the Ventures Memorial Library are donating $750 that was donated to at the request of the McCarran family in memory of their father, George McCarran. Mr. McCarran was a longtime library user and supporter. The family would like these funds to be used by the Children's Department. The Friends also donated $180.60 to be spent by the Children's Department. The total donation is $930.60. Cindy Marcoux. I move to grant permission for the Ventures Memorial Library to accept the following donations: $750 from the Friends of Ventures Memorial Library at the request of the McCarran family in memory of George McCarran, $180.60 from the Friends of Ventures Memorial Library. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
16. Discussion and vote request permission to accept donations, animal control. This letter serves an official request to the donation in the cash amount of $89 by the Recreation Department These funds will directly be deposited in our department's donation account, will go directly towards the care of animals housed at Marshfield Animal Shelter, care for Marshfield Animal Control Officers. Any questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you.
Trish, any questions or comments?
No.
Just have to say, between that one, I know we skipped on the last one, but thank you for the donations. I move to grant permission for animal control to accept the donation of $89 from the Recreation Department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion and vote, request permission to accept two donations, Veteran Services. So the town of Marshfield Veteran Services requesting permission to accept donations in the amount of $1,000 from Andrea Condemo in memory of her husband Anthony. The donations will be used to provide assistance for health and welfare, moral and or financial need of our veteran and their dependents. Let's see here. I move to grant permission for Veteran Services to accept the following donations. Actually, excuse me. Questions or comments, Steve?
No, thank you. Thank you for the donation.
Yes. Questions or comments, Trish?
There's another donation too, $50. I didn't know if you wanted.
Oh, did they
Did you want?
meld them in? Did I miss that, or
It's just in the second.
is there another page on it?
Yeah, there's another $50.
I think it's stuck to the other one. There we go. All right. Town of Marshall Veteran Services requests permission to accept donations in the amount of $50 from Mr. and Mrs. Richard Carr in memory of Janine Murray. Donations will be used to provide assistance for health and welfare, moral and financial need of our veterans and their dependents. All right. Thank you, Trish, on that. I move to grant permission for Veteran Services to accept the following donations. $1,000 from Andrea Condemo in memory of her husband Anthony. $50 from Mr. and Mrs. Richards Carr in memory of Janine Murray. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay, so here's the big one, I guess. Discussion and vote on annual board committee reappointments and other annual reappointments for terms expiring on June 3rd, 2025. So, when I was having a discussion with this, with the staff, I shouldn't say I put it out for appointments, and so that way, if there was anybody new that we wanted to put on, we could, but this is just reappointments, which really, I guess in a way, throws a wrench into things here. So I would like to table this for our next meeting, and just let I would like to let the positions that are up, I guess, just go vacant. That way, we give it the 2 weeks, and then everybody has to, the 2 weeks, people have to resubmit whether they're reappointed or not, and then we just go from there. I'm open to discussions on this. If you have any comments or anything like that, Steve, you know.
Yeah, the cleanest way to do it was, you can just list everyone you just want to appoint, since we're already past June 30th. You don't have to officially vote no to not reappoint someone or to remove them. Any name that you put on the list can either be a fresh appointment or a reappointment. So whatever the list you want to put forward at a future meeting can just be a clean, like, up or down list of names.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to be clean in my way I wanted to do the meeting was that instead of, you know, if there was people that wanted to step into these positions, we could have just voted, instead of vote to put them in and then be done with it. So, but I know what you're saying as well. What's your thoughts, Trish?
So you're saying we don't have to take this list and say we're not appointing them, we are appointing them, we can just come up with a list of people? I just,
This is the way it's written, it's
Right,
reappointments.
reappointments.
I emailed appointments, so that way, even if there were reappointments,
right,
we
so
could have
they
just
have to
appointed.
reapply now if they want to be.
Well, this is saying that a vote and discussion on board reappointments and other annual reappointments. So the whole thing is that we could take a vote to reappoint people, but we can't, if we wanted to put people in anybody that signed up, that I guess you could say new, that wanted to take positions, we can't vote on them for like 2 weeks, I guess you could say.
Right, so if we just vote, if we vote to not reappoint anybody and let them go vacant, that's basically what would happen. We would not reappoint.
If you wanted to, depending on how you wanted to do it, you could reappoint certain ones, or you can just let everything go, just go, not reappoint and just let it go vacant, yes. Then you gotta give it 2 weeks for everybody to reapply, and then you go from there. So there's different ways you can do this, I guess. You could vote for certain people to be reappointed, or you could just do a blanket, something, let all the positions just term out, and then everybody that, even the reappointments, even the people that want to be reappointed, they have to resubmit their forms, and then we could take it up then.
I guess, here's my thoughts. The reason why, when I ran for election, can I just speak for a minute? Okay.
It says discussion. So.
I know, but it doesn't, I'm not answering your question, but when I ran for election, a lot of people ran on the, the fact that lack of experience, and I just find,
Are you saying you, lack of experience?
me,
Okay.
but I'm saying that we keep telling people we want them to get involved in town government, but then when people try, we don't give them a way in, and the only way to get in is these boards and committees. So I'm looking at it to allow new people to give a fresh perspective, and I understand that people enjoy being on these boards, and it's not saying that they haven't done a good job. It's just the fact that I think we need to allow some change to happen, and I think people get set in their ways and they establish relationships, and it becomes very difficult for people to make their way in. And I just, for me, I don't really care how we go about it, but I do want to change this process going forward, and I know this process is supposed to start in January. And from what I've been told, people who used to apply for these positions used to actually have to interview, like just come and say, this is what I have to offer, I would like an opportunity. And I think I would like them to term out. I would like people to apply. I know people have applied, and I do, in my mind, have people I'd like to put forward in certain positions. And again, not that people that are currently in there have not done a good job. It's just allowing a fresh perspective and allowing other people an opportunity.
Okay, so I think, my opinion is I think we should just I'm gonna put a motion forward that we just let all the positions term out, and then anybody that's that was currently serving, we submit their application, and if those that wanna serve, that maybe new, submit an application if they probably already have. But we'll have to give it 2 weeks, and then we'll just have to see if we go from there.
Yeah, well, so we're already past the June
I know that.
30th
I know
period,
that's-
so that you could just appoint whoever you want now. You don't have to give anyone 2 weeks' notice. You don't have to vote to move on from someone. Whatever vote you take moving forward is just gonna be who you want to fill that expired term.
I know, I see what you're saying, but it says reappointments on the agenda. And that's where the hangup is right now, I'd say, in my opinion. So I don't necessarily disagree with you, Steve, on it. The whole thing is that the agenda says reappointments, and I think, in my opinion, to not get into a whole issue of no to some people, yes, and all that, just let them all term out, and then we just start the process over, and let the vacancies start, and then 2 weeks, give it the 2 weeks that's required, and then we just go from there, in my opinion.
Right, so you're saying just at a future meeting date, just have it say appointments, and then we vote to fill. Yeah. That's what we would do.
Okay, So, all right, so I'm gonna put a motion,
But some of those people did request officially reappointment, and they sent us a letter, and they sent us their application resume and expressed
I know
what
that.
they felt that they've accomplished over the years. So some people we do need to hear from, but there are some people who are now expired that would be an appointment that did already indicate that they are interested in being.
no,
Yeah.
I get all that, Steve, I'm very well aware of that, and I believe Trish is as well, I totally understand. I'm gonna motion this, so I'm gonna say, in a motion that, the board motions to let the terms expire on all board and committee.
I don't think you have to make the motion because it would be redundant. It's like, it already happened. So you
So
don't
should we just vote to like, just let,
table it.
just, well, the whole thing is that, is because we voted to extend them to August 1st, I believe. So, because we voted to extend the positions to August 1st, do we have to vote?
I
Or should we
thought-
just let it, or should we just let it, like, expire?
There was a term that Bob used where if you don't replace them, they basically continue to serve in and there's a technical term for it, but they serve in that position until they're replaced. There's a technical term for it, but I didn't think we voted to keep them there until August. I thought we just said, we're gonna circle back to this later, but until we officially take a vote to replace them, they continue to serve in that role.
I believe, my memory serves correctly, that we voted to extend it to August to try and work this out. But
Okay.
obviously not, so that's why I'm saying, do we have, it's not August yet. So that's why I'm saying, do we take a vote to let the terms expire for all these positions, or do we, since we took a vote, I believe, the end of June, to let them extend, or do we just not do anything and just tell everybody the terms have expired, you're just gonna reapply? And what do you think, Peter?
I don't know. It's kind of, this is very unusual. I've never seen this done before, so.
Welcome to Marshfield.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you just want everybody to
Term out.
term out. So they've already termed out. So,
And we did extend it to August 1st, I believe. So after August 1st, they'll be termed out, would I be correct? If we
yeah,
voted to
their
term-
terms have been expired, so everything will be vacant. All those positions will be vacant, and you'll be considering all of the vacancies at the next meeting.
So from August 1st, would that be the start of those vacancies?
Yeah.
As of August
August 1st, that's when the
1st,
clock starts.
the agenda item can literally just say appointments.
Yeah.
Gotta wait 2 weeks, though, from August 1st.
I mean, do you think you'll be ready by the next meeting to have a fully fleshed out discussion and vote with a list of names? Or do you think?
Well, let's put it this way, I mean, there are gonna be new people, but I'm sure that there's gonna be many people that will be,
Same.
Yes.
yeah, staying. So I think I'm prepared to go,
Yeah.
but just following what's in the bylaw to what Jenna gave me, there's a 2-week, if the seat goes vacant, you gotta wait 2 weeks. So if we just let go ahead, Jenna.
My only concern is if this is gonna affect quorums for boards and committees that have agendas posted.
There's nothing we can do about it. It runs, it's gonna be like a start over period, the way I look at it. So if they don't have a quorum, they can't have a meeting, you gotta postpone it.
Well, they can continue to serve until they're officially replaced.
No, because we only did it to August 1st, so, I mean, and the whole thing is that if we don't end it, then we're just gonna be going in circles here, in my opinion, so, I mean, I'm open to suggestions if somebody has, I get the quorum part, and I don't disagree with Jenna on it, the whole thing is that we're in a quandary right now, so, I just want, my opinion is I just assume just August 1st comes, that's it. We got vacancies, wait the 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks, then we just put together what we have.
Why can't we go 2 weeks from tonight?
Because, I mean, technically, I guess we could, I don't know, because we voted to push this out, to extend the board time to August 1st. Or do we vote to end it tonight, end the terms tonight?
If we had not taken a vote and June 30th went by, they would continue to serve until they were replaced or they resign. So that's kind of the same situation we're in right now. So whether it was June 30th or we extended it to August 1st, in either scenario, they serve until they resign or they're replaced.
I don't know, because it says the terms end at a specific date, so if the terms end, they're done. We just voted to extend it another month.
No, because this has come up before in the past where there were people who wanted to move on and did not want to be reappointed or were past their term, but there was going to be an issue with the quorum. So they continued to serve until we found a replacement to take their seat. So the term has expired. There's a technical term for it. I forget what it is, but they continue to serve in that role until they're replaced. You don't have to officially reappoint them for them to continue to serve in that role once you blow past your deadline, whether it's June 30th or August 1st. They continue to serve until we take an official action to replace them or they resign.
I see your point. I mean, I'm just reading the paperwork, Steve. The following people's current terms expire on June 3rd, 2025 are eligible for reappointment and have requested reappointment for a one-year term expiring. So the whole thing is that everything's expired June 30th. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that we all voted to extend it to August 1st. I mean, I would like to, this is what I say, if you said, yeah, we just let it ride, I would love to do that, but I just don't know if that's the legal way of doing it or not.
It is because we've done that in the past. That's happened before, where we had someone on a commission and they were not interested in serving another 3-year term. And this was a commission where you actually need to have a quorum with the people who have the requisite certification and accreditation to hold your meetings. It was Conservation Commission. And so this member stayed on until we found a member to replace them who had those certifications. And they basically just continue to serve in that role, for lack of a better term, until you replace them. It's happened before, which is why I know how it works.
No,
It's come up in the past, so.
I mean, the whole thing is that how do we want to, I get the issue what you're bringing up, and especially the quorum. The whole thing is that then we kind of don't let the positions run vacant then. And then what do we do about that? We should be letting them go vacant, everybody reapplies, and then we can just start. I guess you could look at, it's almost like a start fresh process.
I mean, you start fresh when you just pick a name to put in the seat, whether it's the same name or a different name. It's complicated if you replace them before the term expires. That's where it gets complicated. But if the term has already expired, it's really easy to either replace them or just reappoint the person.
All right, so let's put it this way. The term is expired, just saying, the term is expired.
They're a holdover.
They're a holdover. We can consider the position vacant from that moment to a degree, and still, tell them they still have to reapply?
They're a holdover or a lame duck. Holdover is the term, yeah.
We'll still follow the 2 weeks. Give the 2 week, we'll let the people still vote, or however there is in the committees. But the whole thing is that we'll still give the 2 weeks in regards to they got to resubmit, or if anybody else wants to be on that committee or board, it has to submit paperwork if they haven't done it already.
So just so I'm clear, you're saying that the people that have said that they're interested in being reappointed have to say that they're interested in being reappointed again?
Send in an application, resubmit their application or whatever.
I think they already did that, so I think all we have to do at this point is if we have other people that we're thinking would be a good fit for these boards, we just come up with those names, and it could be the same people.
Right,
Which,
so.
which Jenna has let us know who has put in.
Yeah, Jenna's checked off
Right.
a chunk of names, then let us know that there's some people that weren't interested in getting back on or have not reached out back to us and all that and everything, so. The whole thing is that, like, do those people that you checked off, Jenna, did they resubmit applications? Do they already have applications on hand? How
We've
we?
never required them to resubmit an application or a resume, so a lot of them have just sent in letters.
So, yeah, and I don't want to look at any more.
There is a lot.
But next year, I mean, again, starting in January, I think anyone whose term is coming up, they have to submit a form, you know, but Jenna and I talked about maybe down the road coming up with a new structure.
Moving forward.
Yes.
All right, how do you want to do this?
I think just the next meeting agenda, we just vote on a list of
Appoint.
names.
We appoint.
Yeah, we just use the word appoint.
All right, so let everybody serve out until our next meeting, and then we just appoint.
Yeah,
You could just
I would do
cleanly appoint the whole list of names, yeah. You can call it whatever you want, you can just appoint them.
Okay, okay.
It's clean, no issues.
All right, I
Yeah.
can with that. All right, so, all right, so this is, I don't think this is gonna require a vote or anything like that. I think, because the terms have already expired.
Yep.
I would just say the next meeting, it will be a point on the agenda,
Yes.
okay?
I'm sorry, I'm hungry.
Hungry for what? It seems like you're on an edible right now. So, all right, I think that was it for the last item.
That's it.
Okay, I think we've accomplished, let me just make sure, but I think we have accomplished. Check that off 11. Yeah, all right, we're good. So, I move to accept, oh, wait, let me see this. Oh, the minutes. That's what we have to do. I move to accept the Select Board open meeting minutes of June 30th, 2025, July 10th, 2025, and July 14th, 2025, as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 I move to adjourn the Select Board meeting on July 28th, 2025 at 9:27. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.